Carl and Lou here from Brrraaains A Head-Banging Life, gbhblofficial for short. Happy Halloween, it is the time of the season. And as always, we wanted to make sure we got something out there that was specifically themed around the season. Hence this in-depth. An in-depth where it was like, okay, this is a series that is Halloween through and through. Yep. From the very original through to the final film in the series so far, the remake. We are, of course, talking about Night of the Demons, this series. That's the first, second and third films and the remake of the original. 4 films in this franchise to date. Going into this, had you seen any of these before?
I think I'd seen Night of Demons before a while ago, a good while ago. Because I remember the lipstick part.
Oh, yeah.
The lipstick scene from the very first one. But nothing else since, or even heard of.
Oh, yeah, even the remake.
Nope, never heard of the remake. So, not much at all.
Yeah, fair enough. The original is a classic for me in regards to something I saw in my childhood. One of those should be watching as a kid, but totally fucking did watch as a kid. Yeah. And I didn't see the sequel and the third film until a few years ago when I was writing the reviews for the site. And the same with the remake. I think I'd seen the remake came out, thought it was one of those, why are you doing a remake? It was during that period when we were getting a lot of them. You know, when we'd like, so like we're following off the back of things like Nightmare on Elm Street, Friday the 13th, and I guess they went, well, Night of the Demons is not as well known, not even close to as well known, but it is a cult classic. And it's one of those that I think deserves that title, the original movie, cult classic, because you watch it now and it feels and is every bit the era it exists in.
Definitely.
You know?
It's like 80s cheese. Cheesy, just even having it in a party and having all your teenage characters set up was I really enjoyed that element of it.
Yeah, I think it's one of those where you watched it and you were like, oh, it seems dated. You kind of missing the point with that. It is dated because it is an 80s movie, but it feels 80s, it looks 80s, and there are many sort of films now that try to ape that. In modern times, like a retro thing that feels and looks and sounds like an 80s film, but doesn't quite nail it.
It's hard to pull off because a lot of people think now just throw loads of music over it.
Yeah.
It's like, well, no, you're probably better off doing more of an 80s themed soundtrack with the occasional hit from the 80s. I think that come across a lot better rather than, or like certain programs are like, oh, I'm just playing my Rubik's Cube, and like they have probably little like nods into it rather than just being like the hair and the makeup and the overall feel like 80s punk and stuff taken over. I
just don't think you can fake it. I think the reason why a movie like this feels from this era is because it is from this era, and they try to fake that. It's never really going to work, particularly when, you know, everyone's trying to do it, or a lot of people are trying to do it, and it comes across 10 a penny. Particularly as well, the whole reason why Night of the Demons works is because it's quite balls to the walls. It's quite in your face. It's quite fast paced. It's frantic. It deals with a lot of overtly sex, violence, drugs, alcohol, all that stuff, and puts it in your face and says, hey, we're not embarrassed about this. And you know this from the opening credits. The opening credits, which have that kind of cheesy, cartoony Halloween feel and stuff like that. That really kind of nails that aspect too. That's the thing. 80s was imaginative, so this is the kind of movie that came from it. Even if when it boils down to it, you could kind of go, well, it's just a bit of a slasher flick.
Yeah, just
when it boils down to it.
Just using like a Halloween party and a demon aspect of it, haunted house.
Yeah. As you said, it's an American supernatural horror film directed by Kevin S. Tanay, written and produced by Joel Augustine. Filmed in LA in 1987. It premiered in Detroit in September of that same year, followed by a wider release in 1988. Because often it's kind of billed as an 88 movie, but it did have an actual release in 87. It grossed $3.1 million at the box office, where it received a mixed critical response, but has now become, as I already said, a cult classic in the years since its release. Followed by 2 sequels, Night of the Demons 2 and Night of the Demons 3, aka Demon House. I'll get onto that specifically why that's that when we reach that movie in this in-depth. And of course the 2009 remake of the same name. Cast. There are a lot of cast in this. And I think predominantly everybody stands out in their own way. Like, no 2 characters are the same.
No.
And I think that's really fucking cool. That's not such the case with the second film.
No, oh god.
And I think the third film does a decent job of, again, separating each character, even though that is, we'll tell you now, we'll say it now, this scale is there, and it's a downward drop with
Definitely.
a slight uptick for the remake, and I mean slight.
It's very slight, just because they kind of went full balls with that one, didn't they? But yeah, the quality again. That's the whole thing, isn't it? Sequels. How would you go better than the original?
Well, you're supposed to, aren't you? Particularly with their second one. The idea is when you make a sequel to a hit movie, bigger, bolder, badder, better, all that stuff, and it doesn't. But we'll get more into the issues with the sequels once we get through this one.
Yeah.
The cast: Kathy Podwell. That's Judy. Instantly, your final girl.
Yeah.
You spot her, and you're like, "Yep, you're the final girl. You're the nice one, the cute one, the Sandra D."
Yeah.
The Sandra D. Yes,
blonde
absolutely.
As well. They made a blonde, all-American girl, didn't they?
It's I mean, I love that Sandra D. It's so obvious. She's actually best known though for playing the role of Kaylee Harper Ewing on Dallas from 1988 to 1991.
That's a big program to be involved in.
3 years of it as well. I don't know. I never watched Dallas, so I don't really know it. You know, I know the big thing of it, but that's it.
Yeah.
And that's just because it's some pop culture.
Yeah, and in fact, it's in pop culture over in the UK. We know about it.
Yeah. But I never saw. Do you ever watch any episodes of
No,
Dallas?
I know. I've seen clips of it. From, I remember the 80s or I love the 90s.
Right.
Kind of like talking head shows.
Oh,
they show
right.
like the dream sequence. I think that's the one where was it a whole episode or a whole part of the series was like him having a dream, like he dreamt it all.
Interesting.
The guy goes into a shower. I'm not sure if it's Dallas or the other one that was big, but like he goes into a shower and it's all a dream, and a lot of people kind of reference that. So it's quite a big pop culture reference.
Never watched it, but that's what she is best known for. Amelia Kincaid plays Angela Franklin, also a dancer and an author. She played Angela Franklin in the entire series. Was also written several books about human-animal communication. She's speaks not a horse whisperer, but that style of thing, but to do with I think cats predominantly.
Ah.
She's also the niece of actress Rue McClanahan, who was herself is best known for portraying Blanche DeVoe on the popular sitcom The Golden Girls.
Oh.
Blanche from The Golden Girls. She's her niece.
I'm watching that.
Again, never watched it, but again, it's just the connections. I thought some of it was quite amusing when it came to researching and looking at the cast. But some are just nobodies, so to speak. William Gallo as Sal, one of my favourite characters in this movie. Alvin Alexis as Roger. Again, really like him in this. Really like him. And I love that the era this was released and made in bucked the massive fucking trend of not having the black guy die first, but also survive the entire movie. Linnea Quigley as Suzanne. Now, I feel she should need no introduction, as she is a legendary scream queen. But these are some of her movies: Graduation Day, Savage Street, Silent Night, Deadly Night, The Return of the Living Dead, Creepazoids, Nightmare Sisters, Sorority Babes in the Slime Ball Bowler-Rama. That film's always a mouthful. It's so much fun. So 80s.
Oh, that's fun.
Witch Trap, just to name a few. I mean, her IMDb is incredible.
Yeah.
But also, aside from her acting career, Quigley is also a singer. She formed an all-female band called the Skirts in the early 90s. She's an author. She wrote 3 books, the Linnea Quigley Bio and Chainsaw Book, I'm Screaming as Fast as I Can, My Life in B-Movies, and Skin. She's also a devoted animal rights activist and an active member of PETA.
Oh.
A lot of information about Linnea.
Yeah.
I sort of pulled some of it out and thought, because, Linnea, she's one of my heroes.
Yeah.
She's one of my favourite actors from some of my favourite movies, You can't see it, but on this wall is basically a Return of the Living Dead tribute. And, I have a signed picture up there from her and stuff like that. Lance Fenton as Jay. Hal Havens as Stooge.
Oh, yeah.
Alison Barron as Helen. Philip Tanzini as Max. Jill Terashita as Franny. And then, randomly, but because they do play an important part in this movie, bookending the beginning and the end.
That was quite cute. That was quite
Almost like a creep show. Yeah. Almost like an anthology.
I like that.
Harold Ayer as Old Man and Marie Den as Old Man's wife.
I like that.
That's literally how they're billed.
Yeah.
Last but not least, I thought this was really important. And when I saw it, I was like, oh, okay. James W. Quinn as Clerk 1, right? Why would I bother putting it in there?
Yeah.
Except he does something else in the movie. Way more important. The voices of the demons.
Ah, okay.
Oh,
that's clever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was like, shit, man, that's a big role. Clerk 1, which is obviously in the store the two clerks who are watching Linnea bending over.
Yeah.
But I was like, the demon voices, I was like, that's the big one there, bro. They're hurt a lot.
Yeah.
So yeah, I thought I had to include it.
Cool.
Absolutely. So the plot. After a very fun opening credits, basically we meet two teenage outcasts. Well, teenage outcasts. Angela Franklin, dressed all in black, like a gothic bride.
Yeah.
That's what it's supposed to look like.
I love her outfit.
Yeah?
Yeah, I definitely do it as a Halloween costume.
You think you'd be able to let people know what it was, though?
No, but it's not like, I think I'd do it as a demon, obviously. But then, like, people that got it, you'd be like, yeah, that's cool.
It'd be me. I'd be the one getting it.
Yeah, I reckon people would.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she has a friend, Suzanne. They're throwing a party at Hull House. Yeah, you know, it's a jokey reference.
The Hell House.
Yeah. You know, House on Haunted Hill, basically. It's a mortuary that was abandoned because it has a gruesome past and is rumoured to be cursed by evil spirits.
Of course.
And in the beginning, we basically get to know everyone really quickly, but you also get the establishment of the fun aspect, which is what we kind of referenced a moment ago, which is how they get supplies for the party. Linnea Quigley's very ballerina-style outfit, bending over, showing off her behind, in pants, in the quickie mart, like the quick.
That's what they're called.
They're called quickie marts.
There's a brand of them. Yeah.
Right, that sort of place. While the clerks are distracted, Angela's robbing everything basically. It's a fun intro where you quickly get to know, but also this film kind of tells you as well as we meet sort of the good guys, Judy and a friend, as they're topless and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That aspect.
The creepy little
brother. Bodacious boobs, sis.
Oh, that's weird. He's old enough.
Bodacious boobs, sis.
No, I'll be like, can't you say, oh, like, sis, put your boobs away. Like, reference that you should put them away, not comment on them. Really,
well, he's hiding in a closet while she's undressing. The whole situation is so, like, that's fucking weird. But it's...
If it was with a mate or something, you can kind of go, okay, like, he was like, trying to sneak his...
You're overanalyzing this. You are overanalyzing
but just like,
this.
yeah, just don't... Yeah. Ugh, no.
No, it is weird. It is weird.
Boobs.
Elsewhere, we've got Stooge, Helen, and Roger.
Yeah.
Stooge is the obnoxious one.
Yeah.
He's the obnoxious one. It's supposed to be kind of that way, to the point where, like, he's a little bit heavier set, so his Halloween mask is a pig nose.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. But they're driving past, like, an elderly man, and he sort of, he moons him, sticks his arse outside the window, showing his butt to the old man, who's absolutely outraged.
Raging.
And in a very cheesy moment, he gets scared, so he drops his bag, and he picks it up, and it's like he is holding an apple and a razor blade, and he's like, they'll get what they deserve, and you're like...
Because that's always on your shopping list.
Yeah. It's one of those things as well where it's like, biting into it, you're not going to swallow the razor blade, are you? You know?
Yeah. Oh, it's horrible. It does make me cringe, and like, obviously it's like an urban legend.
Yeah.
Like, friends have heard, or friends have like gone, imagined that happened.
It is that sort of thing. It's one of those weird things where, like, silly things you see on mainstream news around Halloween time, about the idea that, like, people will put drugs inside in candy, and it's like, no one's wasting their drugs, guys.
Exactly, that's expensive.
No one's wasting their drugs. That shit's expensive.
Yeah,
not on some kids.
You give your dusty old chocolate away.
But yeah, we get everyone in quick succession as they're all kind of getting ready to go to the party. Judy and her boyfriend Jay, he arrives to pick her up. Some banter with the brother there as well. Yeah. Jay's again got this very white meat American baby face look about him.
Yeah.
So what I really like about Night of Demons is, as it goes on, character alignment switch. And Jay's an alignment that switches quite severely.
Yeah.
And I really like that. Because we also meet Sal there as well. When he comes, and he's Judy's ex. Or they dated for a little while, went on 1 or 2 dates or something like that. And Sal's got a whole, greaseball, Italian greaseball thing going on.
Yeah.
Like, he is...
Caricature.
He is fucking a T-Bird. From Grease. Going back to a Grease reference. He's a T-Bird. Slick back hair. Yeah. You know? But, like, instantly you get the impression he's not too tough. Because Judy's brother gives some right shit to him.
Oh, yeah.
And he don't really do anything. He makes his threats and shit, but he don't really do anything. That kind of thing. But he wants to know where the party is at. Because he wants to go crash it, so to speak. And on the way, they also pick up Max and Franny. So Sal doesn't end up crashing the party at Hull House. And it's a dusty place. It's a cool looking environment.
I do like it.
It's a cool looking environment both from the outside and the inside. In fact, I would say the outside's so familiar and memorable that the sequels would fail to get that right.
It's not the same house.
Not even close.
It's not even like you showed it from a different angle
Nope.
to explain it away. It's like, oh, you drive up to the front of it. It's a different house.
It's a different house. It is.
I would love to go to a Halloween party in a horror, like a creepy old house like that. Though.
I don't get it.
I absolutely love it.
I don't get it. It's like, hey, let's throw a party in this dusty, dirty, cold place. And it's like, but why?
I think you need more people for it not to be as cold and drafty. But
If it was like
the idea.
rentable or that sort of thing,
Yeah.
maybe.
Perfect.
You know? But yeah, they're dancing, 80s dance and stuff like that. The music goes out. They kind of get things back into the swinger thing. Angela decides to hold a seance because that's always a good idea. But in the mirror, they sort of, you get a brief flash of like a floating head demon thing. Quite elaborate looking.
Yeah.
Like quite hellish. But it's Helen that gets freaked out the most. And she gets a flash of what seems to be her own death.
Oh, yeah.
Like as if she falls face forward dead.
Yep.
And then the mirror falls to the ground into pieces. You then get one of my favourite shots in this movie. Which is everyone looking at this broken mirror from a POV point of view. But we can see their individual faces in each different mirror shard.
Yeah,
it's a cool touch.
It would have been difficult to
very difficult to do.
I mean, because people nowadays do it with CGI, and I think I've seen that in kind of effective films. It looks like it's been made by CGI.
Yeah, okay. I can't really think of any example.
I can't think of it, but I definitely have seen that kind of like mirror shards. I can't think of a film now, but it's definitely been.
It's a well done look.
Yeah.
It's a well done look because it kind of shows shattering and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And the time to that, they hear banging coming from downstairs, and we go down to the basement, cool looking basement with this big iron wrought door, which effectively is the furnace, and that opens, and that demon that we saw in the mirror comes floating out. And throughout the movie and throughout this part here, we do POV point of view as we move through the house. In the form of this demon.
Shot. Yeah, I do like that in horror.
It's used heavily in Evil Dead.
Yeah, like I'm guessing that's a nod, maybe like a nod to it.
Probably, just
Because
probably.
There references. I mean, like say like Sal's called Sal Romero. It's in the whole house, so there was obviously like they want to do little nods.
I think there's a lot of nods towards horror movies that came before this. I think there is. We get the POV of the demon going up to each individual person, and it seems to choose Suzanne to infect, possess.
Yeah.
It just sort of seems does, but it doesn't seem like it's an instant transformation. She sort of seems to be like that kind of thing, like she's
spooked.
Yeah, like that sort of thing. Now that's over, Evan decides to kind of pair off, so to speak, and go explore and things like that. The kind of major story is Jay wants to get Judy alone. Yeah, that's the thing, and you can tell like he's thinking he's going to get wants to get some action here. But your expectation is she's because she's the final girl, she's a nice one. Not that her having sex with him makes her a bad one. I don't mean like that. I mean in these films, it's that kind of thing. Teens having sex get murdered. Yeah. In slasher horror, that's kind of thing. But Jay ends up when they go to a separate room. Jay, he tries it on with her. Kind of gets not forceful. No. But keeps kind of going in for it, kind of situation, and she don't want none of it. No. Which causes him to react badly and basically say he's, in so many words, I was only putting this in this much effort to get into your pants. Yeah. Which is a bit like, okay, cool. They
kind of flips it around. Yeah. He'd be like a sweet, sensitive guy.
No, he's an arsehole. No, absolutely. Yeah, because he leaves her in a room and actually locks her in, seemingly. Because she can't open the door afterwards. Meanwhile, Suzanne has kissed Angela in the party area. Like, everyone's like, hey, that's great, and stuff like that. But that's actually so that the demon can go into Angela as well. Yeah. Now, it's never really explained how this works. No. Do you know what I mean? Like, because Suzanne is still possessed, but so is Angela now. So you kind of like, oh, it's almost infection-like. Yeah, how it spreads. I think that's kind of how, it seems to be the case. I don't think you should be looking too deep into it. No, really. No. And meanwhile, like Roger and Helen freaked out by what had happened, had been trying to find a way out, but actually end up finding the gate's gone. Yeah. Like the wall it's just a wall now, all the way around. Helen ends up disappearing as Roger looks around, and then Roger hears demons calling his name, so freaked out, hides inside a car. Stooge, who's kind of the only one who hasn't really experienced anything weird,
No.
He goes with Suzanne because she wants to use the toilet and wants someone with her. And again, he's, you know what these films are like, ooh, that kind of thing. But she ends up locking him out. And inside, she kind of freaks out. It's like she's looking at herself in the mirror like, oh, like freaking out as if like that's the moment the demon fully takes hold. Yeah. We see her face sort of transform into a demonic looking one. Yeah. And she smashes the mirror before disappearing because Stooge comes in hearing that and she's gone. Yeah. Stooge is like, well, fuck this. Goes back to the main room. And Angela is doing her full-on dance. Yeah. See, this is a good minute of dancing, really. Yeah. Interpretive dance, so to speak.
And I learned that she'd obviously, like you said at the beginning, she's a choreographer. So she choreographer. I can't say that word.
Yep.
She planned the whole dance. And obviously, it's a really good routine. Because obviously they do it later films. And it's just not got the same impact.
No, it doesn't. This is the one where it stands out. It's shot very well, but it's also very sexy.
And it makes sense for the music.
Yep.
Like, it's not completely out of place. We're in late.
The remake would use Black Number 1 by Typo.
Yeah. I mean, that's a good choice for a classic Halloween song.
It is.
So that's like a tick point for that film. But like in this one, it just, because it's new as well, and she's, they don't know her that well, like, and they know Angela is a bit of a.
Well, yeah, they talk about her before we get this point about like. Well, that's the remake, but like this Angela is supposed to be an outcast, a little bit of a loner, a little bit of a weirdo, that kind of thing. But yeah, Stooge is super impressed, so ends up going to dance with Angela. Sal, this is where Sal gets his flip, because he's the other character that flips. Yeah. So Sal's kind of been standing at the sort of side, not welcomed by Judy, but not being a dick to anyone other than occasionally biting comments here and there. He watches Angela. And your expectation was, well, he's going to fucking be into this.
Drawing over it.
He doesn't. He's generally freaked out by it. When Stooge's like, hey, yeah, goes over there. Sal's like, dude, she's acting really weird. Yeah. Like, don't go over there. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. It's like, Sal might actually be the one who's the hero, so to speak. And that's a kind of nice shift in tone as well. But Stooge dances with her, and they end up kissing, and this is where the movie ramps up. Yeah. Because she ends up biting his tongue off. No one's around to see this, admittedly, because by this point Santa's walked off. Yeah. But she bites off his tongue, rips it out of his mouth, quite gory, and she's got blood dripping from her mouth. Jay, wandering around the house, ends up finding Suzanne in a bathroom with her tits out. It's Linnea Quigley.
Oh, you got her. It's in the contract.
Yeah, well, we need to get more body from Linnea in this one than a lot of our other movies. But she's basically been trying to put lipstick on, and it's all over her face. And she does the whole, oh, can you help me put my lipstick on, and that kind of thing. But Jay's like, sweet, I'm going to get some, not at all concerned that she looks like that. She clearly appears to be well out of it.
Yeah, he's a lovely character.
He's just a lovely dude. Yeah. But yeah, they basically end up having sex. You do see full frontal nudity here for Linnea Quigley, if that's your jam. But during her having sex, we get this really disturbing scene where she's like, stop looking at me. It's like, stop looking at me. Yeah. And then transforms into a demon and gouges the older eyes out.
Yep, eyes, lovely.
It's a good gory sort of scene. Yeah. And that's Jay out of the movie. Yeah. So we're already like knocking off several people quick, and it kind of doesn't stop there either, because Max and Franny, who are probably the two characters we've not really talked about at all, because there are a couple already, but they're the ones I think that are the least important, kind of just pushed to the side. Yeah,
because in my head I thought, oh, they come from the second film, and it's like, no, they are in this film.
No, he's wearing the doctor's hospital. I can't remember what she's wearing, but he's wearing the hospital scrubs. Yeah. But basically, they're having sex in a coffin because why not? Yeah. Why not?
The imagery, in it.
Well, you get more nudity and all that. Yeah. But now a possessed Stooge arrives and kills them both. It's quite violent as he's slamming the coffin and ends up ripping Max's arm off through that, I guess.
I always like the fact that these guys, Max and Franny, later on, they put their clothes back on for their resurgence.
Demon part, okay.
For the demon, it makes me crack up. I'm like,
I didn't even pay attention to that.
Yeah, because obviously they're fully nude in the sex scene and they get killed in the nude. But they come back with their clothes on.
Didn't want to be fair enough. Oh, very good, very good. So a lot of people have died in quick succession, so we kind of need our heroes to step up. And it begins with Sal, who kind of returns back to the living room area and goes to speak to Angela, who's facing the fireplace. And she's like, oh, I was looking for you. I was just warming my hands, and turns around and her hands are on fire. Nice. Like flames, burnt and crispy. And you get that, they call it the Jaws shot. And you know it. Yeah. It's the dolly where the person sitting is in frame, but the background rushes forward.
Yeah.
It's what they do when he's on the beach.
Yeah.
There's a way. I remember reading about how it's done. It's on a dolly and it's about pulling something really fast.
Yeah.
A certain thing. That's done here with Sal as he gets to full on sort of zoom up. Roger is then who'd fallen asleep inside the car is woken up by Helen's body just dropping from above, crashing onto the window. It basically is how she died when she saw it in the mirror.
Yeah.
I always kind of thought that part was a little bit pointless.
Yeah, I feel like they kind of had maybe too many characters. Like, you didn't need that.
Yeah, Helen needed to be just got rid of, and there was no real way.
And like Max and Franny, you could have had either or. Like, have Roger and Helen. But they wanted more sex, didn't they? Really?
Yeah, we want more sex, but we want more death as well.
Yeah.
And even if it's killing him off quickly, we just need him. Otherwise, the body count isn't going to be high enough for a movie like this. So, yeah, Sal and... well, obviously that sends fucking Roger running to the house. We meet Sal, and they manage to free Judy. But they end up being split up because Angela's now gone full demon.
Yeah. Looks good.
Classic sort of way of doing this, which is how Angela moves through the house. It's not POV, but it's the camera low, right around waist high, pointing slightly up as she floats at speed through the house. Now, I didn't look into how they did it, but I imagine she was either on roller skates or on a board, and it was being pulled. So she moves smoothly.
I reckon you'd have maybe like like she was kind of like standing in a frame, so there's no movement as well, because you want it to be.
You'd want to, not to be wobbling. Yeah, of course. I
do like to learn like the background stuff. So I'd like to just kind of see that. You know, like you learn all this stuff. Like when you just say, like when you look on trivia and stuff, it's like, oh, I like when they work out things like that.
Yeah, absolutely. It's also cool because this isn't a big house, so there's never many lulls in excitement. You know, there's moments where they try to hide and stuff like that, but the majority, they're always being chased by a demon. They try and hide from Angela. Sal and Judy discover Suzanne with Jay's body. They find Suzanne sort of sitting there with Jay's mutilated body and his eyes gouged out. He's not a demon yet, but he will be. And then Sal's kind of thrown out of a window to kind of take Sal out of it briefly. Judy escapes, gets pursued by demons throughout the house. There's a lot of that. You're kind of confident Judy's going to survive because she was established as the final goal. But the movie always threw you curveballs. So you never can be 100% sure. It always threw you curveballs with Jay and with Sal.
Yeah.
She ends up trying to get out of a top window, attempts to climb down. Angela obviously tries to kill her, but Sal appears then to try and fight her off. Heroic Sal. And him and Angela end up falling off the roof, and we lose Sal. I was so sad to lose Sal at this point. He gets impaled on a spike through his chest, and he's just dead. And it was like, oh man, he was doing such a good job.
He was a good character.
He was a good character because it's so caricature-like. But it was like, oh, you're not going to be the dick though.
Yeah.
Oh, thank God for that. Yeah. But I think the movie knows it's kind of running out of steam here.
Yeah.
So they know they need to change things up. You can't just have them running through the house constantly. Particularly as we're now down to Judy and Roger, the only two left. So they end up locking themselves in the crematorium at the bottom. And, you know, Angela tries to talk and open them up, saying you're not going to be able to get out of it. They've worked out by this point as well that they only need to survive until light comes up. Halloween morning. That's what they need to get past. It's part of a legend involving a stream that runs around the house, and if you cross over that, you're safe. But obviously, there's no way out at the moment. No. So they think they've just got to survive and stay alive in the crematorium. But they start to break down the door. In fact, you start to see the screws start to come out. It's a cool looking effect. So they come up with this cool idea because they're thinking about crawling through the back of the crematorium out the chimney, but there's skeletons and stuff in there as well. You get that. So instead, they take a pipe and break it and use the gas supply to set a flamethrower as they come through the door. It's silly, but it's one of those, it's a cool moment because we needed something fresh and it looks good. It's clearly fire. They use some stunts. It moves the story along to a fun finale. That's what because you're killing off a lot. You're doing the whole burn aspect now as well, more than anything else. Using that, they escape upstairs, but are cornered by the demons. Angela's now burnt, like half her face is burnt. The makeup in this film is top-notch shit. There is no CGI. Even the demon that appears in mirrors and all of that, fucking a puppet. Yeah, a puppet. So I love that shit.
It reminded me of you know, like American Werewolf. His makeup, like, cause obviously like over-exaggerated teeth and the mouth. And
it's why obviously the voice is done by someone else because she's got these big ass teeth and she opens her mouth but she's never going to be able to speak.
No.
Never going to be able to
Yeah,
speak.
and the whole thing about demon is like, it's not your voice.
It's almost coming from the back. It's in the back of your mind rather than you hearing it in your ears, that kind of thing. They're chased and attacked by the possessed undead bodies of Suzanne, Jay, Max, Franny and Sal. So what do you always make of this aspect in regards to these extra demons? I've always seen them as almost like zombie-like creatures that are just like at her whim, the main demon being Angela.
Well, that's what demons do. Obviously, the whole thing of demons is obviously like they prey on people's, like, not weak, I can't think of the word. They want to take over more and more people and use them as their, like, minions.
Yeah,
get on and do
minions,
work.
yeah. Exactly that. They managed to find a barbed wire and use barbed wire to start to climb up the wall as the demons are trying to grab them and drag them back down. I like this because it's very tense. It's also pretty hot. It shows the desperation. Is their hands are being cut to shit because it's barbed wire. Which is really, really cool. Roger does manage to get over the wall, but Judy just can't get over. The demons have hold of her ankles. It looks like Roger's kind of going to leave her to her fate. He kind of covers his ears as the sun's beginning to come up. But he has a change of heart and climbs up and helps rescue her. And then the sun rises, destroying the corpses. And the last sort of thing that we see on the demon side is the demon head rise above. And sort of that's probably the worst effect of the movie before it disappears completely. We then see, obviously severely shaken, bloody and hurt, Judy and Roger walking down the street together. They pass by the elderly man who, he's so crabby, like his facial expressions. We saw him the night before. We missed an early scene where he shouts at Judy who tries to help him.
Oh, yeah.
He's just a nasty piece of work. And he's just like, ugh, out partying all night, you just got, you know, like that kind of thing.
Dirty stuff out.
Yeah. He enters his home to eat one of his wife's homemade pies. And it turns out she used the apples with blades in them. And the blades kind of cut through his throat, killing him. And his wife walks over, smiles, and kisses him and says, "Happy Halloween, dear." It's, as you said, it's so creep show-like. Because it's one of those, well, oh, you meant to do that. Because obviously it's incredibly silly. You took a bite of a pie, you don't swallow a whole razor blade, do you? That kind of thing. And there's more than one, which is even sillier. But obviously as well, the way she kisses him, it says "Happy Halloween." It's like, oh, you meant to do this?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Yeah, like, you know, she hates her husband. Yeah, yeah, it's that kind of situation. But it is a fun, tongue-in-cheek, silly ending. Yeah. To a movie overall that nails all those aspects. I don't think. Here's the thing, though. I don't think it's for everyone. No, I don't. I think a lot of people, I think a large majority of people, would find it so dated now if you were to watch it, and would find its caricature characters, its sort of storytelling points boring, or potentially just like everything they've seen before because of what's come afterwards and what they've likely seen. Go and watch this movie and say, look, remember that this was 87 and 8, you know, that kind of thing.
I feel like if you're having like a sort of Halloween movie-a-thon, I feel like this is kind of good.
This is a good one to do
because you want the kind of the ones where if you miss a line of dialogue, so you're not going to put some sort of like Korean horror on because you've got to watch the subtitles and watch it.
You can be laughing and joking throughout.
Yeah, you can have a drink and watch it, and that kind of element to a film, which I think is good. So I think like you put on like say Return of the Living Dead, you put this kind of film on as background horror. But you can still kind of catch bits of it. Yeah. Kind of like, you know what they do in Scream, don't they? They put horror film on the background in Scream, don't they?
Yep.
And watch it. So yeah, I like the idea of this element of that.
I think that's a really good way to sum it up. You know, it's not one of those I think need over analyzing. It's a horror movie. It's got a lot of horror. It's got a lot of blood, guts, and all of that stuff. But it's also a very sexy movie. Now it's weird for me to use those terms because I'm not a big fan of sex and horror. If you want nudity and shit, go look at some porn. If it's in context, it works. For me, it all works in Night of the Demons. I think it's a major part of the movie. Yeah. If that makes sense.
But I use the house as an excuse to kind of get away.
Well, the demonic sort of aspect of things as well. Sex is important. Yeah. So it's used quite well here. Yeah. You know, it's not like one of my favourite horror movies ever. I don't even know if it's scratched the top 20, let alone maybe 50.
Yeah, same.
But it's one that I do enjoy every time I see it. And, you know, every couple of years I'm like, cool, I'll watch this. Yeah. But it is downhill from here, I'm afraid. Which brings us to Night of the Demons 2, the 1994 film. So we're in the 90s. And I think it's visually noticeable.
Gloss. The gloss of it.
There's a point in movies where you see the switch. Often in franchises you really notice it. I think Halloween's a great example of when you switch from an 80s style movie to a 90s movie in those sequels.
I think films like The Craft, when you see The Craft, it's got that kind of American look to it.
Yeah?
I feel like, yeah, definitely Craft. You can definitely tell that's 90s horror.
Okay. Well, this is 94, directed by Brian Trenchard Smith. It's the sequel to Night of the Demons, released in home video in 1994 by Republic Pictures Home Video. Lionsgate did release it on DVD in 2007, with all of films released in a widescreen DVD and a Blu-ray release in 2013. So this is wildly available.
Yeah.
No excuses to have not seen this film. And of course, it was followed by a 1997 sequel, Night of the Demons 3. So, cast, again, top build now. Millie Kincaid as Angela Franklin.
Yeah.
Not going to go back through what she did. We only did in the first one. But there are a lot of people here who have some incredible credits. I couldn't believe how big a lot of the cast was in this. Yeah. Christy Harry as Bibi, who was most notable for her role as Emily Davis in the NBC soap opera Sunset Beach. Yeah. Darren Heems as Z-Boy. Remember Z-Boy in this? Z-Boy?
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Robert Jane as Perry, sometimes credited as Bobby Jacoby. Now that one, because I didn't recognise Robert Jane, but credited as Bobby Jacoby, I was like, huh? Him? Okay. We're ready for this. American former child actor, designer, real estate developer, and professional blackjack player. Television credits include Perfect Strangers, Knots Landing, The Greatest American Hero, Saint Elsewhere, Manimal, The Love Boat, Highway to Heaven, Murder, She Wrote, Different Strokes, Who's the Boss, TJ Hooker, The A-Team, Cagney and Lacey, Hill Street Blues, The Wonder Years, Jake and the Fat Man, Land of the Lost, Walker Texas Ranger, Baywatch, Tremors, and The Lazarus Man. His film credits include Iron Eagle, Tremors, Tremors 3, Back to Perfection, Meet the Applegates, Night of the Demons 2, Wizard of the Lost Kingdom 2, and the 1993 film, The Day My Parents Ran Away.
Oh, even loads.
He has won millions in poker. He's
Really?
a professional poker player. And his real estate company, well, I didn't add it here because it was just too much information, is incredibly successful.
Okay.
Like over 1,000 projects.
So you can support these, like, because these, I don't think, not many of
Would
these
you-
are going to pay much, are they really?
Right, a lot of this you won't know.
No.
But some should have jumped out there, right?
Tremors.
Do you know who he is in Tremors? Because he's billed as Bobby Jacoby, which is why I didn't recognise Robert Payne.
Is he the young, no. Who's he?
Tremors, think about it. He's young. And there's a couple of young characters in it. There's an obnoxious boy,
Yeah.
Melvin.
Yeah.
Yep.
That was him.
He's Melvin.
Oh. I've not seen Tremors for years.
Yeah, well, that'll be our future. Oh, God, there's actually a lot of them. Maybe not. Merle Kennedy as Melissa Mouse Franklin. Rod McCary as Father Bob, who wasn't who we thought.
Oh,
He wasn't.
No.
Yeah.
He looked
We
like
thought he looked like Thingy's dad.
Luther.
Luther. Is it Luther in it?
I think it is. Something
Mac's
like that.
dad from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Johnny Moran as Johnny. So that's an easy one.
Yeah.
Rick Peters as Rick appeared in several films and numerous television shows and is perhaps best known for his roles as Australian Bobby Manning in Sue Thomas' FBI. He also plays the role of Elliot in the 4th season of Dexter.
Okay.
So again, big
Lots
ones.
of TV programs, yeah.
Jennifer Rhodes as Sister Gloria. She appeared in the New World Pictures film Heathers as Winona Ryder's mother. Her television resume proves to be very extensive, and she's appeared on some of these. Fame, Matlock, Little House on the Prairie, LA Law, Quantum Leap, Knots Landing, Designer Women, Full House, Red Shoe Diaries, Party of Five, ER, Wings, Murphy Brown, Third Rock from the Sun, Family Matters, Friends, Popular, The Agency, and Boston Public. She also appeared in Disney Channel's A Sweet Life on Deck. So there's a lot there again. But she may best be known as Penny Grams Halliwell on the series Charmed. And I was like, wait, I've seen all of Charmed. What? She's fucking grandma. She's the grandmother.
I don't know what
And as soon as I realised, I was like, of course she fucking is. Of course she is. I like Charmed. But we're not quite done yet. Christine Taylor as Terry, known for playing Marcia Brady in the Brady Bunch movie and a very Brady sequel. Either did I. All as well as roles in films like The Craft, The Wedding Singer, Zoolander, Dodgeball, A True Underdog Story, and in a television series like Arrested Development, and since 2016, a black comedy Search Party as Gail.
Ah, see, that's what I remember her in The Craft now. She's the one they curse and all her hair comes out.
Okay.
One of the popular girls.
I've never seen The Craft, so.
Have you not?
Nope.
Ah, it's good for. I like that film.
But yeah, so big actress here. A lot of roles. Zoe Trilling as Shirley Finnertree, Lad York as Kurt, Mark Neely as Albert, Rachel Longaker as Linda. Here's the thing. This is a lot of cast in this one, more than the original.
Yeah.
But what it has is mostly pointless characters.
Yeah.
The only ones you really need to know is like BB, Mouse, Sister Gloria. They're really the sort of major players.
Yeah.
6 years have passed since the events of Hull House and Halloween. And apparently many of the bodies at Hull House were recovered. So they guess the ones that were demon possessed just died.
Yeah.
All except one. Angela's. And rumour, folklore says that she descended bodily into hell. Which, fair enough, it kind of keeps her in the films.
Yeah.
Why not? It turns out, though, her parents committed suicide 5 years later after receiving a Halloween card with Angela's signature. So, very upset by that, they killed themselves. Bit extreme.
It's a way to kind of cut people out, isn't it?
Well, we need a reason for this next character to exist.
Yeah.
Because a year later, her sister Melissa, nicknamed Mouse, is staying at St. Rita's Academy, a Catholic boarding school for troubled teenagers. There's your problem. Mouse isn't troubled in the sense that the others are.
No.
But she, obviously by being an orphan now, that's how they get her here.
Yeah.
And she has nightmares about her sister. Rumours spread around the school regarding Mouse, pretty much started by the school bully, Shirley. However, the head nurse, which is Sister Gloria, constantly tries to put an end to it. Sister Gloria's a bit harsh on it, that kind of thing. And it's an intriguing concept here, where you've got like this boarding school for girls, which also seems to be a boarding school for boys.
It's ridiculous. It would not. They wouldn't be on the same campus.
Well, yeah, because like the boys are close enough that they can literally with binoculars look through the window to see the girls undressing.
Yeah.
Which is a major part of
and
the opening.
Sneak into if you've got a troubled teenager, you've got hormones, teenagers' hormones in general. Yeah, it wouldn't happen. Religious, obviously, that they probably would go. Going to church part would make sense.
Yep.
Because you're not going to have anything going on in church, but the boarding schools being like the dorms being so like free and easy. No.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's not supposed to be, but obviously these are teenagers.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah, that use that very loosely there. So they're constantly sneaking around and kind of getting themselves into innuendo situations and things like that. One such situation leads to Shirley getting banned from the school Halloween dance, where she kind of wrestles with Kurt on the tennis court and Sister Gloria catches them. Annoyed about this, Shirley decides to have her own Halloween party at Hull House. And all her friends are going to come. They're all going to sneak out the dorms because Sister Gloria... It's not just Shirley that gets banned. A couple of others do as well under the boys' side. But Shirley wants Mouse to come, which obviously Mouse doesn't. The rest are like, why do you want Mouse to come? You know, Mouse is... She's given that nickname for a reason.
Yeah, she's all meek and...
Yeah, absolutely. Quite demure, quite small, very, that kind of thing. But Mouse eventually gets tricked into coming and taken to the house. She's very unhappy about it because she thinks like it's haunted and all that. She's the one that relays the sort of story about it and stuff like that. And once there, they end up doing this fake ritual on Mouse. Like they're going to kill her, ritually kill her, but it turns out to be fake when a couple of bullies come along. They get this from a demonic ritual book, which they steal from like the boy nerd, which is Perry, Robert Jane's character, who has an obsession with demons and hell and stuff like that. He's constantly kind of asking the priest about it and sort of suggesting there could be some basis in realism and stuff like that. And like the priest is in a bit of a stuck situation. He doesn't want to encourage it, but he can't actively say it's not true because heaven and hell, right?
Yeah.
One of the two, right? You know?
I do like the fact that the ritual is fake. Like it's a fake at the end of it because I'm like, that escalated far too quickly.
It does, yeah, it is.
They're teenagers and there's probably like levels of like if they were that dangerous, like Shirley and that was that dangerous, then they wouldn't be something like that. They'd be a more secure facility. So to have that, I'm like, well, that just jumped up. But the fact it was just like they are still teenagers and they can't go that far.
No, it is the case as well. And it should be noted, it's not like the others in the group want to go along with it.
No, they are shocked.
People like Z-Boy are introduced here and they're a bit tough, no nonsense, not part of the school. No. They're her friends from outside and they kind of push them around. Even still, like, you can't just let her be killed. Yeah. As far as you're aware, fight. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Step up. But this does end up awakening a demonised Angela. There's a couple of weird incidents that go on. Nothing severe. Nobody sees Angela. She doesn't make herself known. They end up fleeing the house. They're actually able to leave, except Z-Boy, who is in a weird... in a weird scene, it just kind of like, that's so out of nowhere, because a lot of the sort of sexualized content is cheesy. He gets raped by Angela.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay.
That.
Sure, all right.
Yeah.
You know, yeah. But the big part of this is BB bringing a tube of lipstick that she found inside the house.
Oh.
That's so gross.
It was just, I remember that offended me for quite a while in this film. I was like, oh, like, even if it was like, you wouldn't use your friend, like, you none of you use your friend's lipstick. Just randomly.
Random lipstick you find.
And like, the house has been abandoned for 6 years. It's like, oh, herpes all over your, no, it's gross.
Absolutely. Well, it's that tube of lipstick which apparently has allowed Angela to leave the house. Take that for what you will, people.
It crosses the stream, doesn't it?
Yeah, take that for what you will. It becomes like a snake monster and ends up infecting, possessing Shirley. And one by one, the rest kind of fall from that. Murdered by like demonic Angela or possessed by her, that kind of thing, on the school grounds. I'll be honest, it's not always the most exciting sort of things, but it kind of flies by in a bit of a blur because the location's not interesting. But we remember it for one specific reason. Boobies.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
So this is quite a fun little scene where Shirley, her boobs turn into hands and grab...
Yeah.
What's his name? Is it Rick? Yeah, Rick's hand and crushes it. That's probably the best moment of this movie. It's the one that I always remember as being like, when it happened, being like, oh, I've never seen that before.
Yeah.
You know? It's fun.
I did enjoy that.
But most of them do a pretty good job when they're possessed as well, of kind of giving off that vibe. It does feel very much like it. But we also then get like a development that Sister Gloria is able to save Terry by splashing her with holy water, which seems to remove the demon from inside her. Yeah. Again, take that for what you will.
Oh, there's that cheesy montage, wasn't there, of them praying for...
We haven't got there yet, yeah.
Sorry, no, but yeah, because I kind of said, we could put that in there.
Well, because Angela ends up visiting Mouse, who's inside her dorm room now, and she's just nice to her and stuff like that. It's just kind of like, look, I came back for you, I want to help you, and come with me kind of thing. And they see Angela and Mouse running off into the darkness together, and that's when they kind of decide to go back. Sister Gloria, Johnny, BB, and Father Bob, and Perry return to Hull House to try and rescue Mouse. And this is where you get this. This is where I think the film oversteps the mark in the next sort of period of just cheesiness. Yeah. Where you get this montage of them gearing up, where it's like water balloons and holy water, super soakers, and you get like Sister Gloria getting her ruler out and doing sound effects, you know, nunchuck sound effects for her rosary and stuff like that. It's not the worst thing this movie does that's coming up, but it's still pretty like, oh, we've fallen into cheese.
Yeah, it felt like jammed in cheese, because like nothing else up to that point was done in the same style as that. And yeah, it just really didn't sit well with me. I was like, oh, no.
At the house, they're all separated quickly. Father Bob is the first one to be killed as he ends up coming across a demonic Rick, but doesn't believe he is a demon, even though like Perry tries to tell him it is. Yeah. So yeah, he dies.
Perry knows everything, doesn't he?
Well, he is. He's a right smart. There's an earlier scene in the movie where he tries to do a ritual and gets a scare from a demon for a mirror inside a church. Yeah. And they're like, and then he's trying to explain himself to the father. That the priest should be like, dude, no demonic fucking.
Not.
Yeah, just can you not? Yeah. Johnny is saved by Perry from a demonic Kurt, but Perry is then killed by Z-Boy. That's a surprising death though when Perry is killed, because you're like, oh, I thought you were going to be like the final boy.
Yeah, you know so much about demons, a bit of gutting to be killed
yeah.
off.
It's just like, oh, he's killed. Yeah. Then we kind of get a big on battle, holy water, and the super soakers killing off the rest of the demons except Angela. They finish off the demons, and the 3 survivors find Melissa like on an altar. So going back to that whole ritual that was originally the fake one, we're now going to get a real one. Yeah. Angela and Sister Gloria have a fucking debate about faith.
Yeah.
And you're like, what is this?
Yeah, it really kind of just like, the film's stalling now.
Yeah, because like the whole point is like Angela's like, real faith can't move mountains. Your faith can't even move a mouse, and like then she makes mouse float in the air. We're like, but like we already know all of this. Like, why are you doing that? Like I'm supposed to be like,
yeah, I don't really care.
She made someone. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing.
I find mouse annoying.
Yeah, I don't mind her character, but I don't feel anything for her.
I didn't care for her.
I don't feel anything for any of them, really. Do you?
No, not really.
I think a lot of the time we were having more fun about who they looked at. Like we cared about Father Bob because we thought he was from Sunny in
And
Philadelphia.
Obviously Terry is like, well, we know Terry, don't
Yeah,
we?
yeah, yeah. So it was more that kind of thing. And I thought Mouse looks like, fuck, what's her name from Superman? The one who plays Lois Lane, the original Superman. Margot Kidder.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, she had a kind of young look about
Looked
her.
like Margot Kidder.
Yeah.
And then we hit the dumbest moment in the movie, where you just like, Jerry Seinfeld, no one would blame you, just Jerry Seinfeld and your way out of this.
Yeah.
Angela decapitates Sister Gloria. And you're like, oh, whoa. But then Sister Gloria's head comes up out of habit.
Yeah.
So apparently, like a cartoon, when Angela swung the sword, Sister Gloria ducked into her habit.
Because her habit's not fabric, it's solid.
It just,
apparently.
well, how fast do you have to be?
Yeah.
It's so stupid, and you're just like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
But also, it's pointless. It's pointless because the next scene is then Angela handing the sword to Melissa and says, look, kill Sister Gloria for me and you'll be powerful. Melissa isn't so up for it.
No.
Gloria says she'll take her place and like lies on the altar. And you're like, so why did we even do the decapitating thing?
Yeah.
Just get to that part first. It was fucking dumb. Melissa, though, ends up stabbing Angela instead. And then Sister Gloria finishes off Angela with a super soaker filled with a holy water. And you're like, oh, happy ending.
There you go.
And then the movie goes, well, look, the movie seems to go, sorry for making it too cheesy.
Yeah.
Let's turn the tables and go weird again.
Yeah.
They're trying to leave, but they're confronted by Angela, who's now taken on a form of, and I looked up this, a Lamia. 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 Right. Comes from ancient Greek mythology. A child eating monster, and the later tradition regarded as a type of night-haunting spirit, a demon.
Right, okay.
In the earliest stories, Lamina was a beautiful queen of Libya who had an affair with Zeus. Upon learning this, Zeus's wife Hera forced Lamia to eat her own children, the offspring of her affair with Zeus, and afflicted her with permanent insomnia. Zeus, taking pity in her, endowed Lamina with the gift of prophecy and the ability to temporarily remove her eyes to relieve her sleeplessness.
Wow, okay.
It's like, okay.
That's what they went with it.
The Lamia also became a type of phantom, as synonymous with the Empecai, who seduced young men to satisfy their sexual appetites and fed on their flesh afterward. An account of Apollonius of Tyane's defeat of a Lamia seductress is inspired the poem Lamia by Keats.
There's a lot.
Further along, no, there's still more because I just thought it was fascinating. Lamia has been ascribed serpentine qualities, which some commentaries believe can be firmly traced to mythology from antiquity. And they have found analogues in ancient texts that could be designated as a Lamia or Lamini, which are part serpent beings. These include the half-woman, half-snake beast of the Libyan myth, told by Dio Christosum, and the monster sent to Argos by Apollo to avenge Pasmanti Croptus.
Wow.
Yeah. So I just thought, did they know this, or did it just go, make it look like a snake?
Yeah. And it wasn't, I don't know if it wasn't.
And it's just been a tie to that. Because it is, obviously it's not quite a snake. It's a half woman, half snake thing.
Yeah.
I just thought it was fascinating to be like, all this dumb as shit.
Yeah.
And then we reached this and apparently it's not so dumb anymore. We're doing a super smart thing.
I think that's what makes the nun parts the worst.
Yep. Because you follow it with something like this.
Yeah, because it was, nothing else was done in that kind of cheesy vein. So it went from like slapstick to demons and snakes.
And this is a practical effect. This is a practical makeup snake body thing. So again, you're like, did someone get fired after the nun
Yeah,
bit?
it's
And he
like
just
it's
didn't
two different films.
It's
meshed
very, very
at
odd.
points, yeah.
She attacks them, but Johnny manages to kick a hole in the wall, which is in the shape of a cross. Good kick. The cross-shaped sunlight falls on Angela, and she explodes. And again, we get a practical kind of thing going on there. Angela and minions are dead. Sister Gloria, Melissa. It's because of Mouse as well. Mouse, BB, and Johnny leave the house and return to the school where they're greeted by everyone there. But before the film ends, one student is seen finding the demonic lipstick, which then turns into a CGI snake and jumps towards the screen and her. And you're like, that wasn't great.
That fucking lipstick. Ugh.
Yeah, this is a messy film. This is it's got way more misses than hits. I like how they tried to do the story. I like how they tried to link it. They've done clever to link it to the original. It's a fair sequel.
Yeah.
And I like that we start in Hull House and you expect it just to go the same way.
Yeah.
Then they go, nope, we're out of there.
Yeah.
Back to the school. And you're like, sweet, we're going to get something different here.
Yeah.
Bigger, bolder, better.
Yeah.
And then it fucks it all up by returning to Hull House. Because to be honest, that's where it really starts to go wrong.
Yeah.
You know? And that is the problem. I like the little touches, right? It's dumb to take the lipstick and use it, but obviously that lipstick is a reference to the original movie, the infamous fucking putting it in it, which we didn't actually talk about during it.
Oh, no.
No, we didn't. The put into the boobs and into her boob kind of thing that she does.
Yeah.
So it's that infamous scene. So I like those sort of touches and all that. But overall, it's just got way too many characters that you barely get to know, barely gonna like. The ones you should like just don't get enough to make you like them, or they try too hard, like in the case with Mouse, which is a real problem. Absolutely. And then, of course, you've just got this jarring tone of, here's some gory shit, here's like a lipstick snake possessing her by going up her dress, so obviously entering her.
Yeah.
And after that, her boobs will turn into hands and crush her hand. But later on, we're going to have super soakers and fucking nunchuck rosaries.
It doesn't get the balance right.
It's fucking stupid. But then you've got this character like Perry, where it seems like he's there to explain parts of the plot that you don't need explained. We don't need detail about what demonic possession is about and stuff like that. We'll watch the fucking sequel.
Yeah.
We don't need that. It doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
It really doesn't mean anything. So, truth be told, when he died, we probably should have been that surprised. It was mainly because it seemed like him and Mouse were supposed to have a relationship or be like that kind of thing. It hints at it earlier on more than anything else. I don't hate this movie. I simply don't care for it.
No, the series, but I still want to put the first one on.
It's not the worst. We're going to get to the worst in a minute, but it's really lacking when it comes to this. What it's really lacking, I guess, more than anything else, is imagination.
Yeah. You could have done a whole lot more of it. I mean, like I said, the whole religious aspect was done, like, was literally slapped over your head. It was like, we're at a religious school, nuns, father. Yeah, no, it just didn't get the tone right. It
was not only that, not only stuff there, it was slapstick in style. Like, it was slapstick in style. And it's so many silly things, like when Sister Gloria leaves the party, the Halloween party, they wait like 2 seconds to then turn the music over, and I'm like, well, she's still hear that.
Yeah,
she's going to come back. You know, we've got the priest that's like, oh, let the kids have fun, and it's like, don't know if maybe that's quite how it should be when it's a school for troubled teens.
Yeah, you can lose your job because if anything inappropriate happens under your watch, you're going to be in trouble.
The whole concept baffled us, where it's like, so they're sexed up teens who are being kept very close to each other.
Yeah.
Probably looking for trouble there again.
Exactly. Yeah, like these dances, like they have a dance that's mixed sex.
Truth be told, religious schools wouldn't even be like a religious school for troubled teens. Wouldn't have them interacting in that way. No. You said it yourself.
Yeah.
Probably, you know.
You go to church together.
Yeah.
And that's probably about it.
Completely separate.
Back to your own, or driven back to your own campuses.
Yeah.
They don't live on the same. No, it's just nonsense.
But that's not its biggest problem when it comes down to it. Its biggest problems pretty much relate to what we watch it for, which is horror. I don't think it does horror very well.
No.
I think it's too cheesy a lot of the time. I'm not a fan of holy water can get rid of a demon inside you. Yeah. And then you're fine.
That's it, yeah. It's too much of a cop-out.
Particularly as that only seems to exist for one character. As later on, that doesn't seem to work.
No.
It just kills the demons. You're like, okay, why was that okay for her, but not him? Is it because, well, she wasn't a name then?
No.
Yeah. Take it or leave this one. If you want to, it is a sequel, so you can watch it and feel like you're watching a Night of the Demons movie, which isn't the case with the next one. But if you don't watch it, you're not missing anything. So, yeah, make your choice, really. For me, it's whereas like the original is a 7 to an 8 out of 10, this is a 5 to a 6.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's quite generous as well.
I think it's being generous, yeah. That brings us to Night of the Demons 3, a.k.a. Demon House. Why is it called Demon House? Do you know?
Oh, I think you told me, but I can't remember now.
Because in the UK, where for some stupid reason, we released it under the name Demon House, not Night of the Demons 3.
That's weird.
No fucking idea why, but it is Night of the Demons 3. I don't know why. No. I have no fucking clue as to why it was given a name change. It's not like there was a Night of the Demons 3 already.
No.
But like when it was marketed here, they went with Demon House. Bizarre.
Yeah.
Bizarre. It's the third and the final one in the original series before the 2009 remake. Released 1997 by Paramount Pictures and Republic Pictures, and R-rated and unrated versions. Fucking fascinating, this. How weird is this? As of the time of recording, as of right now, so October, what day is it? 23rd, 24th?
23rd.
23rd, 2021. This is the only installment in the series that has not been re-released to any home format or on video on demand.
Really?
Yep.
That's bizarre. I mean,
Absolutely.
So that means it costs too much to bother with.
I don't know. Why. Why would it not have been picked up by any distributor for
We
a
watched
fucking
it last
release?
week, didn't
No, we didn't.
we?
It's not on video on demand. We didn't. I'm going to tell you how we watched it, but if you know how to watch it, you can find it if you really, really want. But yeah, that's why it's such a struggle to watch. It is a struggle. So, cast. Larry Day is Officer Larry. He's the guy at the very, very start. I didn't think he was that important with the characters. I was puzzled why he was kind of one of the top build. But then I remember he returns as a demon, a quite talky demon.
Yeah.
Amelia Kincaid is Angela Franklin. Yep, she's back, and it's interesting to see her age over this. I think she's fucking beautiful though in this movie. She
definitely looks the prettiest in this one.
Kristen Holden Reed as Vince. He played or portrayed William Compton in the first 7 episodes of the Showtime series The Tudors. That was a popular show, wasn't it? In 2010, he began appearing in television series Lost Girl. He played Quint Lane, the super lycan in the film Underworld Awakening. In 2013, he voiced Captain Canuck in the animated web series of the same name and provided a voice for the character Crawford Starrick, the main antagonist in the video game Assassin's Creed Syndicate.
So he's done bits and pieces then.
A bit all over the place. I thought that was fun. Gregory Kalpakis as Nick. Tara Sloan as Lois.
Who's Lois?
I find
Sorry.
this fascinating. Sloan became the lead singer of Joy Drop. The band released 2 albums, a chart sits in Canada with Beautiful and Sometimes Wanna Die, and was nominated for a Juno Award. In 1998, Sloan landed a recurring role in La Femme Nikita. She appeared in 3 episodes. In 2008, she appeared in an episode of the 2nd season of The Border. Since the breakup of Joy Drop, Sloan has worked on a solo album with Jordan Zadorazonzi. That's her name. Her latest album is Just Look Pretty and Sing, which was released on March 6, 2007, with lots of singles. My Little Secret, We Were Stars, and A Perfect Girl. But Joy Drop reunited on April 2nd, 2017. Yeah. Some music has happened in her career.
Yeah.
Sloan also completed on Rockstar INXS on a week 4.
In excess.
In Excess? Why does it not say
The
In
band.
Excess?
That's the band, In Excess.
I just find it annoying.
In excess. Yeah.
On week 4, she was again placed in the bottom 3 after her version of Message in a Bottle and eliminated that week.
Oh,
So, yeah. Not great. Probably one of the bigger characters in it, or actors. Christian Tessa as Orson. He first came to television in 1989, appearing in 18 episodes of the Canadian children's show You Can't Do That on Television. He's a big child actor. He notably appeared in the remake of The Tomorrow People, 1992 to 1995, and the motion picture adaptation of Battlefield Earth as Mickey. He also appeared in 2 episodes of the TV series Are You Afraid of the Dark, Laughing in the Dark and The Curious Camera, and I couldn't believe I didn't remember this, because I'd only just done this a couple of months before. He appeared in the teen drama special Crystal Clear and the 1996 episode of Goosebumps, Say Cheese and Die.
Oh, God.
Fuck. Yeah. Late in his career, he appeared in A Call to Remember and 5 episodes of Battlestar Galactica as Tucker. He also played Aaron in The Day After Tomorrow, but his scene was deleted. He also appeared in the 2014 Godzilla, but his part was also cut for the final film.
Man.
He appeared in Wayward Pines and 19-2.
Oh, Wayward Pines. Yeah, so I kind of... Oh, that machine.
Big career. A lot of it as a youngster.
I think with people getting their scenes cut, I think I've heard of people that actually go to the premieres and don't realise their scenes cut and actually watch the whole thing through and go, I'm not actually in this anymore.
Awkward. Do you think you'd be told beforehand, you know, your scenes were cut?
It's pretty poor show.
Like a famous one is the amount of cuts that Christopher Lee had from his work in Lord of the Rings, Return of the King. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Sad. I thought I was in more of this, guys.
Yeah. We were in the extended edition.
Yeah. 15 hours long.
Joel Gordon as Reggie, Patricia Rodriguez as Abby, Stephanie Border as Holly, Ian McDonald and Mr. Morris, who is the Quickie Mart clerk, who again you might think, why have you put him in there? And it's like, no, he has an important role in this. Yeah. He does. And the last big one, and I apologise for going so in depth on these characters, but I found a lot of it fascinating because these movies are trash.
Yeah.
So like to see some of these names, it's quite intriguing. Velastra Vranier, Lieutenant Dewhurst, feature film debut in the Canadian filmmaker David Cronenberg's Shivers.
Oh, I haven't seen that one.
I couldn't remember who he is in that. He's appeared in television show and films including The New Avengers, The Littlest Hobo, Choices, Spearfield's Daughter, The Kiss, War of the Worlds, After Amy, All Souls, Friday the 13th, this series, Windsor Protocol, Lobby, Highlander 3, The Sorcerer, Sirens, All Souls, Mom P.I., The Hitchhiker, Press Run, Waking the Dead, Varian's War, Pachamama and The Blue Man. Wow. In 2005, he received an award for excellence from ACTRA Montreal and the Richard Kind Award for the Best Actor at the 2005 Trenton Film Festival for his lead role in BP Paquette's psychological drama A Year in the Death of Jack Richards. Vardia played Fire Chief Wickersham in Secret Window and Booker NPC in The Day After Tomorrow. Voice acting credits include Assassin's Creed, Splinter Cell, Heavy Metal 2000 and the Mysterious Cities of Gold, documentaries and radio and TV commercials. He narrated the Canadian vignettes and other films for the National Film Board of Canada.
So he's done loads then.
Incredible career. Yeah, absolutely. So, Demon House, Night of the Demons 3. It is Night of the Demons 3 because it has Angela and it follows all the same beats that you would expect. Except this movie drops the ball in so many ways.
Yeah.
In so many ways, it's stupid.
Yeah.
Let's just go through some of them quickly. For starters, it has a cast of the most unlikable, impossible to enjoy characters and actors. You full stop.
It sets the tone straight away of like, oh God, why do I care about these people?
Even the ones that are supposed to be maybe get behind, they're introduced and led to them in a way that makes you go, no, I'm not going to do it.
No.
I'm not going to do it. The final girls, they're that whole, you're trying too hard to make them nice.
Yeah.
And it's the thing where it's like, oh, I'm beautiful and all that, but I don't think I'm beautiful. Why would that guy like me? That kind of crap. It's that stupid shit. It's irritating. Angela has been bumped up. She's Freddy Kruegering this bitch.
Yeah.
Where it's no longer about anybody else. It's about Angela and the situation she finds herself in.
Yeah.
Then we have the house. I mean, the moment this film starts, you're like, well, that doesn't even look remotely like the same house. You're not even trying here anymore.
You could have watched it and just gone, oh, okay, we'll CGI, we'll find a house similar and just work around it. But no, didn't bother with that.
Didn't even bother or find a dumb way to explain it. Like the lipstick from the last movie ended up at that house. That's why this is now the new Hull House, as it were. But it's not. This is just Hull House. It's not on a hill for starters. It looks more modern, and inside it looks completely different. It's fucking absurd.
Yeah.
The only thing I do like is that I think there's a point where it gets quite dark, and I think the situation that ends up with our cast in the house works.
Yeah.
So, several years have passed after the massacre at St. Rita's Academy, and on Halloween night, Officer Larry is a night watch at Hull House, where he is randomly at the start confronted and murdered by Angela, who kills him with her own police badge. This sets the tone. It sets the tone because straight away you're like, why is he on patrol at Hull House? If it's locked up, no need.
No.
Especially on Halloween night. Angela just waits and then decides to kill him now. But it's also cheesy with a pun. And it's the first thing we're seeing. It's like, okay, so this is what you want to do.
Yeah. No subtlety.
Yeah.
Straight in.
She's just killing people. Yeah. That's it. Bad boy Vince, which is Kristen Holden Ride. He had his promiscuous girlfriend Lois. I suppose Lois does actually work.
It does work, yeah.
It does work. And their friends Nick and Reggie are cruising through town in Vince's sidekick Austin's van. So immediately this is all our cast in a van together. So let's quickly go through them. So Vince is the bad boy. But he's one of those where he talks a big fucking game and he really, really ain't got it going on because him and Nick constantly butt head. Yeah. Nick's kind of... They're going for your man from Lost Boys. Oh, what's his name?
Kiefer Sutherland.
No, not Kiefer Sutherland. The main brother. Fuck.
I can't think of his name.
Oh.
It's going to bug you now.
It's going to bug the hell out of me.
He'll probably come back later like...
Who's the actor?
Not Jason Patrick.
Jason Patrick.
Oh,
Jason
right,
Patrick's character.
Yeah.
They're going for that. With the look and his sort of chilled out moodiness and brooding toughness. Him and Vince constantly butt head. Him and Reggie are constantly doing these "your mama is so fat" jokes, and it's so like the fuck. Lois is, like I said, supposed to be like they're acting like the Bonnie and Clyde, her and Vince, that kind of thing, where she's trying to be sexy but just coming across slutty.
And like, why are you all together?
Well, we're going to get to that because the last one is Orson, who's kind of nerdy, looks up to Vince, wants to be a badass as well, and wants to constantly be involved, but he's only there because he's got the van. And immediately, like, why are you all hanging out? Nobody seems to like each other. Anytime someone says something that's a little bit cutting, they're ready to fucking fight.
Yeah.
And they're like, why are you hanging out together?
Yeah, it takes you out of it. It's like, oh, there's no camaraderie. It's just cold.
Like, why is Nick there? He can't. He clearly doesn't like Vince. Doesn't like fucking Lois.
I'm like, there's not even like a line to explain why he kind of might have just been tagged along.
Yeah, like, I've got nothing else to do. It makes no fucking sense. You end up picking up the head cheerleader, which is Holly, and our shy friend Abby, who have gone to a party but broke down on the side of the road. They're on their way to school dance, should I say. So they get in the van. They're going to take them to the dance as well. And Abby is enamoured with Vince. Fucking knows why. Fucking knows why. He's not even fucking like particularly good looking, and he comes across like a knob.
Yeah.
So it's like, what's attractive about him? It must be the bad boy character, right?
And he's a douche though, isn't he?
He is. He really is. The one that's important though, the relationship that's important is Holly and Nick, who do this whole thing where they don't pretend they don't remember each other.
Yeah.
But they do, and like she's kind of side eye looking at him and all that.
And he mugs her off, didn't he?
He does, but he mugs her off, embarrasses her, and later on then sort of apologise. He does later on apologise for it.
Yeah.
And I thought that was one of the good points where you're like, okay, you're used to sort of being standoffish.
Yeah.
And you kind of let your guard down a little bit there for her.
Yeah.
I mean, he's an idiot because she's very attractive.
Yeah.
But he's very attractive too. They're the pretty ones of the group.
Yeah, definitely.
But they stop at a convenience store where Reggie then tries to buy beer with his brother's fake ID. But the clerk is very unfriendly.
Yeah.
Did you get any racial undertones over this?
No, from what comes later with the clerk and his motives, I don't think he...
Yeah, I thought, because you expected to go that way, because he's a white, wearing a wife beater, fucking sweaty, Ramsey Nesbitt style, wearing leather beater, and it's Reggie that's talking to him, he's showing a fake ID, which is clearly an older man. So you're kind of expecting it, but I don't think they did that either.
No.
Tempers have escalated when he pulls a shotgun, as he said, and Vince steals the gun as two police officers come in behind them. Obviously, they start to panic, and Vince starts shooting at the police officers. And it's one of those, whoa, this escalated.
Yeah.
What, he's shooting one of the officers, who, when the clerk grabs Vince, and Reggie gets shot twice in the stomach by one of the cops. The other officer gets shot and falls outside the window. So it's quite a fucking full-on whoa.
Yeah.
They end up grabbing Reggie, dragging him into the van. Vince brings the shotgun. Orson, for some reason, steals a police officer's gun.
Why?
Fuck knows why.
Yeah.
And they all drive away. And it is a bit like, well, how'd you go from robbing or trying to steal some beer to shooting a police officer?
Yeah, it's just the escalation of it, and it's like, oh god, no, didn't like that.
The problem is what we've got in the van involving Vince and laid the groundwork for. You're not actually that much. You're not dangerous. You talk like this, and you're like, oh, apparently he really is enough to shoot a cop.
Yeah.
Happily, though, the officer was wearing a bulletproof vest as we see him get back up. So he, other than a sore stomach, he's not dead, which is lucky for Vince. This is what Lieutenant Dewhurst ends up finding out. This is Vlasta Vrana's character, who hilariously is introduced and sets him up to die because he's due to retire at midnight that night.
Dun, dun, dun.
I was like, it was almost like, are you doing it as a funny joke?
It must be, because...
But the only reason why I don't think it is tell me what else this movie has humour.
No.
There's no humour.
Humour.
If it did, I'd be like, yeah, that was a funny one. Well done, you, kind of thing. But he watches the security camera playback and somehow works out that, because the clerk's saying they stole money, and he works out that the clerk is using the robbery as a cover to steal the money himself. And that he realises, look, they're just frightened teens. They didn't kill anybody. Yeah. That we can. They're going to be in trouble, but we can sort this out without anyone getting hurt.
They're trying to get his influence with the group, aren't they?
Yeah, and it is nice because I'm like, okay, I like the idea.
Yeah.
Like that.
And the cops going, okay, not complete. We just want to get hold of him to talk to him about some stuff.
Yeah, like we can sort this out. And I like Lieutenant Dewhurst has a very calm demeanour, very softly spoken and all that. I quite enjoy him in this.
He knows he's going to be leaving soon, so he's like, yeah.
Well, there's an argument to suggest that he wouldn't perhaps be out working like that if he's due to retire at midnight. But for some reason, again, they're like, okay, what we'll do is we'll give you a gimmick to make you stand out. It's like, no, he stands out, and then he's like, he likes magic, and he uses magic to get the clerk like he pulls out the card. He's like, and it's Miranda rights. Yeah. He's gonna and there's your Miranda rights. Where's the money? That kind of thing. And you're like, haha. Yeah. Weird. In the van, Vince notices the gas tank is almost empty because obviously it'd been shot, and they decide to hide out a whole house. Abby's against it, telling the place is possessed and not to cross over the underground stream since demons cannot cross over running water. Abby tells Vince that the place is possessed, not to cross over the underground stream since demons cannot cross over running water, but Vince forces them all inside the house via gunpoint. The whole demon cross over water, I know they established it in the first movie, so it's fine. But you're like, is that in law? Is that a thing?
Yeah, it must be, because it's too specific, and you don't see the. There's nothing else to. I think it's just put in there to kind of keep them in the house.
Yeah, otherwise it'd be too free and easy, innit?
Yeah, if there's a fence, you could scale a fence. Yeah, so it's definitely put in there just to kind of like as a mechanism to keep them in there. But it might be a demon thing, like because there's salt, isn't there? Apparently, is it we put salt down?
I mean, there's lots of stuff like that. You know, go to Discworld. Wizards can't cross the running water. You know. Vince trying to prove demons do not exist. So before we go into what he does, they enter the house, and you're like, well, this is so not the same house. Also, it's empty. Who turned on all the lights? Who lit all the candles?
Oh, yeah.
No one... Oh, it's just that kind of stupidity. Yeah. It's like, fuck's sake, man. He taunts them. The demons sort of saying, oh, you're going to come out. And shoots a hole in the wall, which apparently wakes up the demon below. I guess we're snoozing. Yeah. Comes rushing upstairs using footage from the first film. It is so fucking stupid because it's got a POV rushing through the house. You're like, that's not the fucking same house.
That's why they added a different filter to it.
Like, it looks exactly the same, with the dirty walls, decay and all that, and it's like, what, is that like a different part of this house or something? Yeah. They came in a different doorway?
Just
stupid.
If you're going to do that, just make some effort to make the colour of the film match, because it clearly was, like, cut from another film.
Yeah, it's so fucking obvious. Particularly when you watch them in order as we did. Yeah. Angela appears, and kind of, like, she's very relaxed and all that as Vince holds her at gunpoint. Orson, for some reason, decides to buddy up with Vince and reveals that he has the pistol, and that he'll watch the others and Angela while Nick, Lois, and Vince make sure nobody else is in the house. Yeah. Okay? I never really got why Orson just like, I'm going to be a dick, too now.
It's weird. Not even in the possession part of it by then.
Nope. Angela then puts on some music and does a dance. So we get a dance again to distract Orson, who really does get distracted because he's just like, Abby and Holly see this as an opportunity to escape with Reggie, who's still bleeding to death. Yeah. Very, very long bleeding to death here. Outside, Holly tries to hotwire the van, but remembers that Nick is still inside. So it's like, we can't leave him. That kind of situation. And we then get what I consider one of the dumbest scenes in the movie, is Angela begins to seduce Orson by simulating sucking him off with a gun. So earlier on, there's a joke made about sucking golf balls through a hose. And Orson decides to use that on Angela. Yeah. And you're like, oh, fucking stop. Yeah. So she puts the gun in her mouth and then sucks the bullets out of the gun through the barrel, spits them into his hand. And rather than being like, well, that's fucking not right, he's just like, oh. It's so fucking stupid. She kisses Orson and a long demon tongue shoots through the back of his head, killing him. Oh no, I was so sad. Everybody really liked Orson. Meanwhile, upstairs, Nick sneaks up on Vince and Lois, who've decided just to stop and start making it out. Yeah. As you do. Yeah. But he actually fails to take the shotgun and Vince starts shooting him but misses. Nick runs away. Outside, Holly hears a shot and then overhears a voice over Larry's police radio. So Angela had moved his car out of sight, which was like a foot away from where it was and totally not hidden anyway. Like anybody could see it. Pointless, whatever. She finds his car. Abby leaves Reggie in the van to look for Holly, but Angela then takes Abby to a small chapel. She acts like she's running away. Come here. Takes her to the chapel and kind of plays on her insecurities. You know, you're almost mousy to a certain degree. Because she's also got a crap cat costume. Oh, yeah. And she says, look, she can make her an irresistible woman. I can make you this. You can get whatever you want. And then kisses her. So obviously possesses Abby as well. That's cool because I kind of thought Abby would be one of the more final people.
Yeah, because he's kind of got that kind of character, isn't she?
The badly wounded Reggie hears his name being called, leaves the van, but then gets run over by a possessed Orson. So Orson's now wearing his Halloween mask, which is like a demon mask over his face. Would look good except for the obvious, which is you can see where it ends. Like if they'd done it so that it kind of sealed,
just a bit of time,
became his face, So he's run over and Reggie is dead. Abby has now been turned into a demonic version of a cat, ends up seducing Vince inside the church. This is out of place sex scene where it's, I don't know if I'm going to use the right words here.
Go on.
I think it's quite graphic.
I think it is.
Because of the positioning and the thrusting that's going on.
Yeah, because we don't get that.
No.
No, so it's a little bit more, before you see what it's got its R rating from.
Yeah, it's you don't see anything. except boobs.
But what's implied
But
is...
her position on top of him is very, very sexualized. It's very, very... It's like, oh, okay, that's surprising.
Yeah.
You know? Vincent hears the van's crash, throws her off him, runs outside, and during this scene you get like, what's it called, where Lois comes in, who'd been waiting outside, thinks... Obviously, kind of like, what the fuck's been going on here?
Yeah, something's going on.
And gets in with Abby, who kind of like now has cat claws and sort of scratches her as well. They kind of fight a bit here. But Lois gets her own sort of death a little bit later on. It's a weird one. It's a weird one. Again, a little bit sexualized. You notice that? So she's been carrying around this fucking snake puppet on her hand for some reason, and she's kept it on all throughout the film. She's pursued by Angela, ends up in the kitchen, and then her arm transformed into an actual snake. You didn't really like the effect. I thought it was all right.
It looked shit.
I thought it looked all right.
It looked awful.
But it seems to sort of go down towards her underwear, and then she seems to start enjoying herself before it comes back up, and then it sort of jumps towards her face, and that's the end of her, as it were. In between all of this, apparently Holly has taken ages to smash the police car window to call the police, but she's now attacked by the possessed officer Larry, who does something a lot of the demons don't do, which is starts to try and act normal at first, and then goes cheesy by taking his hat off and is like, oh, look at my brains, which are exposed, and you're like...
Oh, that really just the tone.
It's all over the place.
It is all over the place. The tone is just so off in this film.
Yep. He chases Holly across the courtyard, and she steps over the underground stream out of the gate. He tries to step over and gets disintegrated. And I was baffled again. I was like, so in the original movie, you sealed it all up? Why didn't you this time?
Yeah.
Why not? Yeah. Nick finds Holly, going back in the house to get everyone out. They run into Orson and all that, and then they hide in the attic, and then randomly, because this film and the whole situation and their chemistry call for it, they kiss. And you're like, no, come on.
But like going back in for the rest of the people, like, make them nicer. Like,
just don't care.
No.
Just don't care. And there's no chemistry. They've not had long enough around each other. Oh, I remember you from class. I remember you. I kind of fancy you. I kind of fancy you too. Cool. Let me put my life on the line for you. No.
Mistake.
But Orson ends up appearing, and Holly throws a can of lye in his face. And we disputed this at the time for some reason. I guess we were so bored. Well, I thought it was turpentine, and you thought it was lye.
Yeah.
You were right.
Yeah.
It was lye, according to the description I found.
Because it would dissolve. Because I think it's in Fight Club, when he puts lye on his hand, and it's a powdery stuff, and he said, oh look, I can give you stuff to take it away or make it worse.
This is how thrilling this movie was.
Yeah,
this is what we ended up getting into, whether it was lye or turpentine. But yeah, they rush in the hallway, but end up running into Lieutenant Dewhurst, and he explains, look, I'm here to help. He does handcuff him, but takes him outside and says, look, we'll deal with this. Yeah. Rince, who's still alive, runs outside, but he's using Angela as a hostage. Dewhurst tries to talk Vince down, and it seems to be working. He says, look, the guy didn't die. Yeah. You're okay.
You're still not murderers yet.
You're not murderers yet. We can sort this out. Yeah. But Angela whispers in Vince's ear that he's lying. So Vince ends up opening fire, but misses. And Dewhurst ends up shooting him through the eye and killed. Again, a sudden, like, out of nowhere, whoa. Because it's a full-up, close-up bullet to the eye, and he died. And you're like, oh, that was a bit horrible.
Yeah, quite a great extreme. Again, all over the place.
All over the fucking place.
Yeah.
But Angela immediately turns him into a demon, and the other demons appear. Angela offers to let Dewhurst and Nick go free if Holly will give up her pure and powerful soul. What?
Yeah.
What? Here's the thing. That works in the second film with Mouse.
Yeah.
I'd be like, pure and powerful, I buy into it. Here, I don't know anything about Holly. I don't know if she could have fucked her way for her entire school. Yeah. For pureness, if that's what they mean. Yeah. Because that's what I presume they mean. Yeah. Or that she's just a nice, virgin, perfect, that kind of thing. Yeah. Or she's just a nice person. Then let me fucking see that. Yeah. Because I don't really get it. Yeah, she's the nicest of the group, but that's just a character compared to everyone else's dickish behaviour. Yeah. I don't get that at all. Yeah. Also, you'd be arguing like, well, why was Abby not pure and powerful then? Yeah. Like, what was, I don't get it. It's so we can get to an ending. Yeah. Ugh. Holly agrees because why not? Yeah. Apparently these strangers deserve to live and I don't. And Andrew turns Vince into a demon. All the other demons then slowly troop their way inside the house. But Dewhurst creates a diversion using magic. and using cards and use it to stab Angela with a switchblade. Nick then gets in a police car and rams Angela against a tree. And dawn begins to break, so Angela disappears inside the house. And you think, okay, that's it done, right?
Yeah.
For some reason, it isn't. As the three make their way to the gate, Dewhurst tells Nick and Holly that they were not on the security cameras, so no one will ever know they're there. I like that.
Yeah.
It's like, look, this has been a fucked up night. Let's just get out of here.
Yep.
You weren't seen.
Yep.
That's where it ends.
Yeah.
That's where it ends. But Angela now randomly reappears, having left the house again, and pulls Dewhurst's heart from his chest. And you're like, did you have to kill him?
Yeah.
I don't get it. Did you have to
That's
kill
really
him?
nice. Why? Yeah. Why?
Could it not just ended up them leaving?
And they did a good thing for these guys. So why is he dying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's because they wanted to do the whole last night to retirement bollocks.
Yeah.
You know, it's so stupid. She chases Holly and Nick just before they cross the underground stream. Angela grabs Holly's arm, but Nick ends up pulling Holly and Angela both over the stream, and Angela dissolves. Holly then leaves a cross made of sticks at the gates and promises she'll be back every Halloween to make sure no one ever goes inside again.
Yeah.
Right. Holly and Nick then walk home, and the last screenshot of the hat shows the lights turning on and Angela laughing and saying Happy Halloween. Yeah. It is a shit movie.
Yeah.
It is the worst of all of them.
But even go back and talk about it, I'm like, I don't ever put this film on again.
This is now the second time I've seen it, because obviously the first time for the written review, second time for this in depth, and I'm out. I'm out with this. To me, it's like, I don't think it works as a sequel because it changes too much. Other than Angela, tell me what was Night of the Demons about this.
No. It was like they had to throw in certain aspects to make the people likeable, and then when they did make it likeable, oh, they're going to get killed. The sex is thrown in there.
It is.
It was like the characters that had the sex, like the Lois. It's so like cliche 90s bad girl with that hair and everything pulled about. I'm like, like even in her death, they made her kind of like over the top, overtly sexual. When they could just gone with, she was actually quite scared at the end, rather than just that. Oh no. Just a tone, like the first time got the film right. It was a Halloween party that went horribly wrong. The second film, puns. This film, we started dark with a failed robbery.
Yep.
And then didn't kind of have any let up, really. There was nothing to kind of redeem it or make you like anyone. So why would we invest your time and, oh, I liked him.
I think is an important aspect what you've said there. This movie lacks fun. Where is the fun to be had here?
We've got enough gore. We've got enough gory, horrendous horror. Look at Halloween. There's no comedy.
And this was 1997.
Yeah.
We now have a past Scream.
Yeah, and Scream had elements right. It was fun to watch. It was scary. It was gory. It had all the elements there. It ticked all the boxes. This just felt like there was nothing similar. There wasn't even like a party element. That was it. No party element.
Which is one of the biggest problems I have with this movie. I was waiting for you to stop, and I was going to come in with what my biggest problem. But you've touched upon it now, which is both the first and the second film nailed the fact that I felt like it was Halloween night. Yeah. This could have been fucking Christmas.
Yeah. Yeah.
Could have been Christmas. Yeah. The night was irrelevant. Totally irrelevant. And what fucks me off is, in the second film, Angela wants to get people there. What was she planning to do for the night? Those people were never going to come here. She's just going to be chilling for the night. Oh, well, no one's coming tonight. I'll try again next year.
Yeah. Or like you could have had like maybe like if Angela's at have some sort of accident, or like she had another sister that was some sort of way of getting them to the house that was kind of like slightly demonic and gets them there.
Yep.
Ugh, no.
No, I agree. I also want to sort of throw into, you missed the trick with doing something basic as well. When they enter the house, have it made up as a Halloween party. They're like, oh, there's something like going on here.
Yeah.
At least instantly we get that vibe. Even though they're not there for a party, we get that visual vibe. And suddenly enter a house, and it could fucking well, like I said, be Christmas morning. Yeah. Oh, there's some candles about. But the white walls, how clean everything is. It's so distracting when you've been watching the other films.
Yeah,
you're like, this does not work.
I mean, it would have been more fun to kind of go back to like an older Halloween party. This house has been here for years. Why not show like
maybe
having a fun in between and stuff? Yeah, I didn't like it at all.
Yeah. It's such not even like a missed opportunity. It's pointless. It's irrelevant. It's not needed to enjoy Night of the Demons as it was originally. It is the worst of the bunch. Definitely. I struggle to look at redeeming features. At best, I can say it has got some good gory moments. There is some moments where you're like, whatever. I like some of the imagination in kills, but I feel like they're trying too hard to be imaginative. Yeah. I personally didn't mind the whole snake arm thing and stuff like that. I thought it was different. different.
Much better.
There's a cool shot I really like, which is when Angela gets stabbed by Dewhurst outside. The demons who have walked inside are enraged and banging at the windows.
Yeah,
I think there's some good shots there. I think a lot of the peak actors, when they were playing the demon parts, really went for it.
Yeah.
Like, I always remember Vince with like his bloody eye throwing his head back and like roaring and stuff. And it's like, okay, that looks cool, you know? But ultimately, it's jarring. It's a jarring movie to watch. Because there's nothing overtly dark, like so dark that you're like, well, that's just horrible.
Yeah.
Likewise, there's nothing so sexual you're like, what the fuck, guys?
Yeah.
And or so funny or anything like that. It's just, it has these tonal shifts where it's like, hey, we're now going to try and make you laugh. What?
Yeah,
we're now going to do some light-hearted humour. We're going to do some gore. We're going to do some sex. And it's like, you can say the first time, but that always felt like it flowed and it was an important aspect to the story.
Yeah.
This just feels like, no, this is a thing.
Yeah.
Like, horny or not, bad boy or not, you can go back to the sex scene. She's acting super fucking weird. Vince acknowledges that, and it's like, oh yeah, I'll just bang you.
Yeah.
While my girlfriend's outside.
Yeah.
It's just like...
Yeah, like even like that, you got to have some morals in between.
Well, it just because we don't fucking know their characters.
Yeah.
What are the characters?
They're thrown together and like, actually, there's coldness. There's no reason for them to be together.
Yep.
And like,
your mama's so fat, she's got her own gravitational pull, and that stuff. Fucking hell. Let's move on.
Yeah.
That's done. We've got one more to go in this in depth, and it is the remake. And that brings us to Night of the Demons, 2009 remake of the 1988 film. Directed by Adam Girash and also co-wrote the screenplay with Jace Anderson. To say at the start, I've got no problem with this film. I don't think it should exist.
No.
I think at times it's fucking terrible.
Yeah.
At times it's good.
Yeah.
I think it's got, of the franchise, the best makeup effects, naturally, as you would expect in 2009.
Yeah.
And I think it does lighting really, really well.
Yeah.
What it lacks is a coherent story and probably some of the worst characters of the franchise, personally. And then I'm talking about the franchise.
Yeah, and like some of it just make some of it more believable. Like put us in this position where we'd actually believe that.
Yeah, this film has moments that where you're just like, this is too dumb for me.
Yeah.
Like, this is too dumb for me.
Yeah.
Cast, though, of course, we are going to dive into it because there are some big names here.
Yeah.
There are. We begin with the person that plays Angela, but now apparently called Angela Feld. Why change her last name? Like, it's irrelevant. We know her as Angela.
Yeah.
But it's Shannon Elizabeth, best known for her roles in the comedy franchise American Pie, 1999 to 2012. The parody film Scary Movie, Fuck Greg. And the Christmas film Love Actually.
Oh.
Who is she in Love Actually?
The one of the American Birds at the end.
Of course she is. She's also appeared in both the Jay and the Silent Bob films, 2001 and 2019. The horror films Jack Frost, 13 Ghosts, Cursed, this film, and played roles in the period comedy series The 70s Show and the sitcom Cuts. So Shannon Elizabeth, if you don't know the name, you know the face.
Yeah.
Particularly if you're, I think, our age. That kind of thing. Monica Keena as Maddie Curtis. She made her film debut in While You Were Sleeping in 1995, which blew my fucking mind.
So child acted in that.
She's the younger sister.
Oh, we
Bill Pullman, Bill Pullman. We watched it last year.
Yeah.
It's a movie I saw as a kid. Bill Pullman, Sandra Bullock.
Yeah.
Right. A rom-com that's surprisingly nice to watch.
It is, yeah. It's for like Sunday afternoon fodder.
It really, really is. She had a lead role as Lily Hoffman in Snow White: A Tale of Terror in 1997. She later starred as Laurie Campbell in Freddy vs. Jason 2003.
Oh.
Yeah, we've talked about her previously in this. Yeah. And has had roles in the film Brooklyn Rules. Kino has also worked television, starred as Abby Morgan on Dawson's Creek, Rachel Linquist on the short-lived comedy Undeclared, and Kristen on HBO's Entourage.
I've heard of Entourage.
Yeah. You've heard of Dawson's Creek?
Yeah.
I don't want to know. I don't want to wait. We know the song now, so to speak. Dora Baird as Lily Thompson appeared in films as Wedding Crashers, Accepted, The Texas Chainsaw Massacre, The Beginning. We've watched that. I don't fucking remember that.
Blacked it out.
Young People Fucking. That's the film. My Best Friend's Girl, Stan Helsing, and Transit.
Okay.
Michael Coupon as Dex. He's known for playing Felix Tagro in the television series One Tree Hill. Vin Keel in the television series Beyond the Break, and Lucas Kendall in Power Rangers Time Force. Go Power Rangers!
Oh, I'm trying to picture our low budget there. That is.
Bobby Sue Luther as Suzanne. She played an Orient slave girl in Star Trek Enterprise, as well as being a newsreader in Deuce Bigelow European Gigolo.
I've not seen that one.
She then was selected to advance to the last 28 candidates of the 2004 WWE Diva Search, but was not chosen to be one of the 10 finalists. I thought that was fucking fascinating.
Yeah.
We're wrestling fans. In March 2007, Luther was named the new face of St. Pauli Gil Beer. She was in season 5, episode 6 of Smoke and Jacket of Curb Your Enthusiasm as a Playboy girl, and appeared in season 2, episode 5 of Terminator the Sarah Connor Chronicles. She's also the spokeswoman for Lynx Body Spray, a brand that is called the Bond film of advertising.
Oh.
So, seems more... It's random, but there's a lot of like model stuff and like stuff. I thought it was interesting. John F. Beach as Jason Rogers. Not done much. Didn't add anything for him. Edward Furlong as Colin Levy. He won Saturn and MTV Movie Awards for his breakthrough performance at the age of 13 as...
John Connor.
In James Cameron's Terminator 2 Judgment Day. Arguably the greatest sequel to an action film ever. Maybe the greatest sequel ever?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like sequel, like where like they did the whole bigger, bolder, badder, and nailed every aspect of it. Because like the only one I was thinking was Aliens, but I'm like, Terminator 2 is probably better than Aliens.
Yeah, it is.
You know?
Godfather.
Oh, Godfather 2 is good though. But then...
And the third one's better.
In 1992, he gave an Independent Spirit Award nominated turn opposite Jeff Bridges in American Heart and earned a second Saturn Award nomination for his work in Pet Sematary 2. I presume for that one, they were giving the awards out to anybody. Because Pet Sematary 2 sucks as a movie.
Did you mention...
We're not done. He's got a lot.
I know.
He won a Young Artist Award for his performance alongside Kathy Bates in A Home of Her Own in 1993 and appeared in Before and After 1996 with Meryl Streep and Liam Neeson. He received acclaim for co-starring in Peckers alongside Christina Ricci and, of course, American History X co-starring as Edward Norton.
It's such
which is a very strong role for him.
Really strong. Like, he plays it well because he looks the part and he plays it well, and it's so believable that he will be a younger brother aspiring into his older brother. Yeah. Perfect.
It's a tough film to watch, but it's one of those do watch.
Incredible.
Because it also will give you hope to a certain degree. You know, people can change. Yeah. But he has significant roles in the comedy Detroit Rock City and the crime drama Animal Factory. So yes. Tiffany Sheepus as Diana, Jamie Harris as Nigel, and in a cameo as ballerina Linnea Quigley. I love it. Love it. Film opens in 1925 with scenes of gore and demons. And you're like, what?
Yeah.
What's going on?
Okay. I did say that in the last one, though. Go back.
Yeah, we do go back to a sort of origin sort of aspect here more than anything else. And I'm going to fill you in because it doesn't tell you what's going on now. It tells you later in the movie, but I'm going to do it all now, at the start. And basically, Evangeline Broussard, she fell in love with a man named Lewis. And to try and win him over, she kind of decided to use black magic because he had already had a girlfriend or wife. She gathered him and his friends one night for a seance. But ends up being demons who are banished from hell. Apparently banished from hell for being too evil or trying to overthrow the devil.
Too evil.
Yeah, like too evil for the devil. They're trying to overthrow. Yeah, because they make a joke about it. Like, trying for that devil got banished. And one of them says, like, demons that are too evil for hell. Yeah. And you're like, okay. But apparently, if they get 7 human sacrifices, they can rise again and take over the human world. Specific number?
Yeah,
okay.
Of course, yeah.
But rather than allow that to happen, Evangeline throws herself over the balcony, hangs herself over the balcony, and decapitates herself. We see this man, this is Lewis staring at the balcony, and we see his eyes switch to sort of demonic eyes. So he was a demon trying to talk her out of it.
I like the fact that when she hung herself, she didn't just hang there.
Oh yeah, she decapitated herself.
Yeah. Which obviously would happen from that great height. Like, it's very rarely it would just be
if your head don't come off completely, it's going to tear. It's going to be messy.
Yeah, which I appreciate.
It's an interesting opening and sets this movie up as something different. You're like, okay, something different.
Yeah.
And the movie goes, nah, fuck that, mate. Fuck that. We're a remake of the original, so we are going to remake the original. We're just going to do party time with a bunch of characters you won't care about. Exactly. Present day, we got Maddie going to a party held by Angela with her friends Lily and Suzanne. So let's just quickly throw these in. Maddie is your final girl immediately. Yeah. Particularly if you see her and you know Monica Keena. I saw her and went, oh, Monica Keena. Remembered her from Freddy vs. Jason, was like, she's the final girl. Yeah. And instantly you kind of get it. She's a little bit nicer and stuff like that, where friends are, I don't know why they always have to do this way, are a little bit sluttier. Yeah. But it's not like Maddie isn't, like, they're modern women. Yeah. Joking with each other.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's all fine.
Yeah.
But a movie tries to make out, they always try to do that where it's like, oh yeah, no, you know what they're like, they're promiscuous.
Yeah.
And they're like...
Yeah, and like one of the girls, like her top, like, it just looked too over the top. Like, it didn't look comfortable to be actually just be sitting and walking around. It's like, could you not have made it look sexy about it being so, like, I know obviously that's what they were going for, but just, I've worn corsets, and like, if you're not fitting properly and you sit down, you're just really uncomfortable sitting there. And it's just a little thing for me, but I was like, make them look better.
Other characters as well are changed. Angela's quite different in this. She's not an outcast.
No.
In fact, she's throwing this party
Yeah.
at this house that she's apparently rented.
And she's got a reputation, hasn't she?
She's got a reputation for being a bit of promiscuous and stealing, or like coming on to people's boyfriends and husbands and stuff like that.
Or anyone you've shown interest in.
Yeah, apparently she wants them, that kind of thing. That's the discussion we get told elsewhere. Then we also meet Colin, Edward Furlong, who looks like he should be in a different movie. I can't believe they're trying to pretend he's the same age as the others, which is hilarious.
I don't know if they do pretend that, because of his job, his extra.
He's a drug dealer.
Yeah, I don't. So it might just be that's why maybe Maddie wasn't together with him, because she might have been told, oh, he's older, he's a drug dealer, don't go with him. So I don't think he's supposed to be the same age.
Okay, let's talk about this. He is Maddie's ex.
Yeah. Really.
And listen, man, I don't want to slam anyone, but this is the most unbelievable part of the movie.
Because he looks rough, like his skin isn't it? Like he's got good skin. He looks rough.
He's pale. He's like sunken eyes. Not because he's on drugs either, because it doesn't. You never see him taking drugs.
No.
It's one of those where like you laugh and you go,
him?
was she on drugs throughout the period? Like,
yeah, like
make him fucking dress at least with clothes that fit him. Like his clothes are hanging off his body.
Yeah.
Like and all that. What he does have, I guess, is a little bit of a gift of the gab. Kind of thing, maybe that, but like he isn't even funny.
No,
like, I'm like,
it just sounds unimpressed with everything and everyone. I'm like,
what did you see in him?
Attraction? Yeah, and because they're ex at this point, you don't know any of that attraction, so you don't. No,
well, we never really do throughout the film.
Yeah, don't put me here because I don't know why you two are not together.
It's baffling.
Yeah,
I don't get it. Why couldn't they just been friends?
Yeah,
who had fallen out when she found he was a drug dealer?
Yeah, because she's.
Why'd it have to be a couple thing?
Because she seems like she's more like holier than thou than the other ones.
Well, so. yeah, but like she found it was a drug dealer or dealing drugs to people at school. She didn't like that, and she was like, "Look, I can't be around someone like that." Why'd it have to be a couple thing? Because it doesn't come into the fucking story. It's not important. It doesn't create any more drama between them.
And they're half-assed a costume as well offends me, but she has to be wearing like a white vest top. Is that some sort of like thing of saying, "Oh, I'm better than you guys"?
Yeah, maybe, may very well be. Colin is in trouble though, as he was selling drugs too cheaply, and he used to go and see his dealer, who is this bloke, and he did this thing where he's getting a blowjob at the same time he's talking to Colin.
It makes me think of Superhands. Everyone's getting sucked off.
Yeah, it's so silly. And he tells Colin, "Look, you're going to have to go and sell us new drugs, and you're going to give me a bigger cut." Yeah. That kind of thing. So Colin's going to go to the party and deal, even though he's not welcome, and Angela doesn't want him there.
I didn't need that. He could have explained that. He could have said that as a sideline to someone.
Well, I think it's there purely to show why he goes back to the house desperately to get the drugs. We needed a reason for that. Because even though he'd want his stash, he may not need that stash right now because he's told he's got like 24 hours.
Okay, so he's got a deadline.
He's got a deadline, so to speak.
Okay.
Also, there is Lily's ex-boyfriend Dex and his friend Jason, who... Oh, man, like, could they be any more bland? Not so much Jason. Jason gets a hilarious scene. I've seen what I think is delivered so brilliantly of just how you would do, how anyone would do it in real life.
Yeah.
Dex is so fucking bland. Yeah. So fucking bland. At the party, Angela makes a big and it's a big on party, man. Yeah. It's one of those American Pie style parties.
Got to get some slow down shots.
Yeah, like everyone's, all the beer and all the beer's free and all that. And this is baffling, right? Drinks free and all that shit. But apparently Angela needs to make money from this party, so she's got someone at the door charging people.
Yeah.
Be like, wouldn't the cost of even hosting this party cost more than you're going to get?
Yeah, because she got a permit for it.
Yeah, like, what?
Yeah.
What? I don't get that.
No.
I don't get that at all. But yeah, she makes a big entrance. She's not like the Angela from the original. She's confident, sassy. I think she does well. Yeah. Shannon Elizabeth, I think she does well.
I think I like her. I know her face, and she fits that well.
Yeah.
So she's very pretty, but she's got that edge to her, which is why she's good as Angela.
Yeah, we do have this problem with Shannon Elizabeth, where almost every time she's on the screen, we can't help it. we just think of I guess is our personal favourite scene in Scary Movie, where she's running to save Greg, and like the other beauty queen's like, you've won, Buffy, you've won. And she's like, I won. And then like, what's her face comes along and is like, what happened to Greg? She's like, oh fuck Greg, I won.
Yeah,
it's just that it's the fuck Greg.
Yeah.
It always makes us laugh.
Didn't he pop up in a film, but more serious role? We couldn't.
Couldn't take him seriously because of it as well.
But yeah.
So yeah, Lily and Dexter, ex-boyfriend and girlfriend as well, but reunite, and Suzanne gets incredibly drunk. There's no matching up Suzanne to the character that she was originally. You know, we will say the Linnea Quigley cameo comes early on when some kids are trick-or-treating and they go to her door, and she does the whole bending over thing to get them some candy.
Oh, I feel like she'd done it with like older teenage boys.
It was kids, which made it a little bit weird.
I thought it should have been some like teenage boys trick or treat.
Yeah, I think so too.
Drooling a little bit.
Yeah, because then you could be like, she's almost trying to relive her youth.
Yeah.
Because it's an older Linnea Quigley.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so Suzanne gets incredibly drunk. Maddie goes to the toilet and then has her hand, randomly a demonic hand, trying to grab her through the mirror. Yeah. She's scared, runs out, and then brings her friend back and it's like, oh, the mirror's fine.
It's a prank.
And they think it was a prank, a trick. And you're like,
no.
What?
I mean,
that's a stretch.
There's a party organisation and then there's like setting up some massive scale pranks. And there was no other pranks anywhere else.
Anywhere else, yeah.
So
it's absurd.
Yeah.
But the party gets shut down by the police. And the explanation is that there's no really explanation. He just shuts it down. She's like, got a permit. He's like, don't care.
So it must have been.
No, it's a permit. I remember. Actually, it is. I've got that wrong.
Money, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's a permit, but because it's a private party. But when she's charging the door, it becomes a public thing. Yeah. Anyone can come in if she's charging the door, and that gets it shut down. Panicking, Colin stuffs his drugs in a grater to hide it, which makes sense. And the police sends everybody out, leaving Angela alone. For some reason, I don't know why, Maddie, Lily, Dex and Jason, who would originally leave, all then come back.
Yeah, why are they...
They say it's to come back to find Suzanne. But I don't get how the police let them.
No, once you
gates are closed, you're out.
You're out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they come back in to find Suzanne, who had passed out drunk somewhere. Colin also comes back for his drugs, which makes Maddie very unhappy. Why are you doing drugs? And with Angela goes into the basement to find them. They actually find a hidden door that's hidden behind some shelves. And we get some sort of context here about hidden rooms in a tunnel that leads to the next estate over. It's very naturally done. Weirdly enough, guess who has great chemistry? Furlong and
Nadia.
Nadia. Shannon Elizabeth.
Yeah.
Colin and Angela have great chemistry. The conversation's so natural.
Yeah, and it's not about anything like sexual or anything related to like insulting each other or swearing, which a lot of these films tend to be people making cutting remarks or swearing at each other. And I was like, oh, okay. The fact we're mentioning such a small, inconsequential scene.
It stood out.
And I'm like, oh, okay, so there's nothing in
I
there.
remember saying to you, I watched it, I was like, fuck, they did that brilliantly. Like, that came across so...
innuendos about, oh, you can see my tunnel between two buildings. You know what I mean? Like, it was just them two talking.
Anyway, yeah, it's a weird small scene for us to jump on that we just really enjoyed, I think. Yeah. But they enter the room and inside they find 6 skeletons that are spread out in like a circle. Angela summarises that the skeletons are remains of the missing party guests of Evangeline Broussard. And here's where you get me. I'm like, nobody ever found this room before. Yeah. Really? Yeah. Ever?
It's just so complex as well. Oh, there's 6 skeletons. Ooh.
Yeah, they end up checking them out and stuff like that. I'm messing around with it, seeing one of them's got a gold tooth. Angela tries to get the gold tooth, which ends up almost like biting her. Yeah. She gets cut on it, which causes her to feel a bit woozy. Now I'm going to bitch about something. I don't like this.
No.
I don't like this because I think it rips off demons. Dario Argento's demons, where a simple scratch or a cut would be an infection.
Yeah.
This is that, because she starts to feel a bit woozy and then over time transforms into the demon.
Yeah. No.
That's not Night of the Demons. No. I guess you got to have a way to do it, but like I didn't love it. I was like, oh, have you stolen that? I feel like you've stolen that, guys.
Yes, before, because they've done away with because it's not the same house, they've done away with like a furnace element of it. They've just...
Maybe just do a seance again?
Yeah.
Maybe just do a seance again?
Yeah.
You know, it's just the 5 or 6 of us. They end up sitting down and playing spin the bottle.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Colin attempts to leave the house after getting his drugs, only to discover that the gate is locked and can't be opened. So obviously everyone's going to plan now to wait the night out when hopefully they'll be able to get out by the gates. Suzanne details how Evangeline practiced black magic and all that stuff we saw. And this is where we get the detail of what went wrong that night. And apparently the only person who was found alive was the maid, who was found scribbling spells on the walls, having been driven insane by the night's events. And this is my Jerry Seinfeld moment. Where I'm just like, well, then what the fuck is this? This is stupid. This is so fucking stupid. Because you implied Evangeline was the last soul they needed to make it.
Yeah.
Well, no one thought of going to get the maid?
Yeah.
What's wrong with the maid? Oh no, what, you wanted to be upper class or something?
Yeah.
There was another soul in the house.
Yeah.
We learned that the scribbling stopped them coming in there. But then she didn't make them all appear at once. No. She was in the house when it all kicked off. You're just like, come on, man.
It's very complex, isn't it?
It's just where, like, that doesn't match up to what you're telling us. They really just needed souls to take over the world. Yeah. And they needed one more. The fucking maid!
Yeah, stupid.
God.
Stupid.
Anyway, Angela slowly succumbs to the skeleton bite and turns into the demon. Now, we get that in the mirror. This is one of the weaker effects. Yeah. Her makeup for the demon. I don't love it either. No. It's kind of like, looks more like a succubus look. Yeah. Which I guess kind of works.
Yeah, but no, it just looked a bit... It would be a really good Halloween costume, but no, I wanted more for a horror film. Which I say she's an actual demon. Yeah.
I think they'd made sure to make it not look too bloody and gross so that when the first proper bits of blood come, which they do in a bit, it actually stands out.
Yeah.
So she returns to the group, they partake in a game of spin the bottle, and Angela ends up kissing Dex, which upsets Lily, who storms into a nearby room. Once in the nearby room, rather than being like, well, what the fuck, dude, I thought we were hooking up. Yeah. She's like, does that weird thing of being like, oh no, oh, you can sleep with me instead? And they end up having sex, but Dex transforms into a demon while they're having sex, from behind, doggy style, and infects Lily. There's flashes here, and I'm annoyed that it's flashes because it almost feels like they scale it back because they didn't want to get to a high rating. Yeah. But we should have seen more here because what you briefly see is like tentacles burst out from her boobs.
Yeah, well, you want to see more of it.
And I was like, why not do like the whole demonic cock thing? Yeah, like let's see this shit.
Nuts with it, yeah.
Because he starts getting little horns there and his face changes a bit. Yeah. But like when that shit bursts out of her tits. It's like a 2-second flash. Yeah. I was like, oh wow.
That's good.
And that's it. You're like, oh man. So they're now demons. Angela then attempts to seduce the others, but no one really bothers. Maddie, Jason, and Colin leave to find another exit, but can't. Angela does seduce Suzanne, though in the dance, that famous dancey scene. So it's black number 1. By typo negative. It's a slow, sexy dance. It is all of those things. I've got no issue with it. No. Do you really?
No.
Because it's a good song,
I like
it works.
Song, so I'm like, okay, I'm on board.
And it also ends in brilliant style, where she rips her top, then rips her boobs off, and then her face off. Yeah. And you're like, whoa, that's gory. Yeah. It's really, really good. Absolutely. Jason runs into Lily in the toilet, and we get a redo of the lipstick in the breast thing. Yep. Except this movie then steps it up a notch. In what is probably the grossest scene, which really makes you wonder why they didn't go to town elsewhere.
Yeah.
Because here, I think you get quite an extreme scene. She pushes it into her boob and then voids it out of her vagina. And it's very bloody.
Really? Like sheets,
really?
Like sheets of blood. Yeah, it's pretty full on.
He runs back into the room, like with the other survivors. And this is one of my favourite scenes. This is why I love Jason. He's like, he's trying to tell them. And he's like, and you can see it going in his head. How do I explain this? What do I say? What do I say? Like, how can you explain it? So he's trying to think of a way to explain it. And he just gives up. And he just says exactly what happens. And his face says it all. He's like, yeah, like, I know you're never going to believe this, but that's what happened. But it's the emotions that run through his head. I loved it. Made me laugh my head off.
I read that was this guy's audition scene.
Oh.
And that's how he got the job, because he did that as a scene. And they liked the...
It's one of my most standout scenes. I fucking loved it. It's just, it's put yourself in that situation. You can't just run in and say, she just did that. You know what's going to happen. So you need to come up with something that explains a reason to come with me. Yeah. But his head's so fucked up by what he's seen. He can't just say, oh, she's not well, calmly and come.
He's like...
Because they're going to go, well, what's wrong with her? And all of this. He needs to get the movie... You know, I loved it. I loved it. But happily, the demonic Suzanne actually comes and attacks them. So they all decide to leave for the house's escape tunnel. On their way, they arm themselves with a gun and a metal bar. But they discover the tunnel has caved in before being attacked by Lily and Dex. Now, you really like this shot, if you remember. Lily and Dex on the roof of the tunnel with the lighting in the background.
Oh, yeah. I said, did lighting really
Yeah, well. This film does lighting really, really well. Yeah. They manage to fend off the demons, but Jason is injured, and the survivors run upstairs to tend to Jason's injury. They end up realising that they're in the maid's room with the writing in the wall. They manage to peel off the I guess what is a layer of paint that's crumbling off it, and they peel it off to reveal all the writings. That kind of thing. So they discover through there that they're going to be safe, and discover that the demons are now trying to take over 7 human hosts to be freed upon the earth. Obviously, having been thrown out of hell, we said. It was them that tricked Evangeline, so we're back to that. Again, we get this history lesson that we don't need. And what's really frustrating here is it's Maddie that starts telling it, reading from a fucking diary. And you're like, this is too much. This is not, come on, guys.
Like, keep it really simple. Like, focus on...
You told us.
Yeah.
Let it be an urban legend. Yeah. And then we saw it in flashbacks, so we're in the urban legend. Yeah. Yeah. Apparently the demons can't take over a dead body, though, which is why Evangeline hung herself. So, the maid, the fucking...
You're going to keep going back to that.
Got to get back to that. But just to throw in something else that makes you go, what? Rust hurts these demons. Rust.
Like the iron.
Yeah, something about iron being from Earth. And
anyway.
The boys fall asleep because basically the film grinds to a fucking halt here. Yeah. As we now spend a lot of time inside this room because they're safe in there. Yeah. And here's the thing. Story-wise, it makes sense. Just stay in a room. I'm not leaving here. Yeah. Problem is, it's not good to watch. No. That's not a film. And the film knows that. The boys fall asleep. Angela taunts Maddie, but is unable to enter because of the walls. So, blood starts to pour in on the wall, seemingly to wash off the spells. Now, okay. This is where the film doesn't quite get it right visually for what they're suggesting. Yeah. They're suggesting that the blood is going to wash the spells off the walls. Yeah. So they start trying to run around, wiping off the blood and redraw the spells. Except we can clearly see it's not doing any of that. No. That nothing is being washed off. No. That the blood isn't even thick enough to cover it.
And if demons could do that, I thought they couldn't come into the room.
If they could do anything like that, why not just do something that completely covers the fucking wall?
Yeah, and then not actually then you can go into the room.
Well. Well. Anyway, it doesn't really matter. That just ends. But they're now learning in a room when apparently daylight just suddenly, the sun just doesn't just come up. It bursts up out of the fucking sky like a zombie from a grave. And they're like, oh, we made it to daytime. You know? And you're like, straight away, you're like, well, you clearly haven't. They go outside, they go down to the bottom, but when they get to the bottom of the stairs, they notice of the front door, they think something is wrong. And one of them throws a rock or stone or drink through the window of the front door, revealing that darkness is outside. And the light goes off, and they've been tricked. And again, you're like, if you can do this, man, I feel like you can get them. Yeah. I feel like you can get them. Because we're going to talk about something coming up in a bit that they use, that I pointed out when they first went in the room, which is, the room has a bathroom. The room with the spells. Yeah. The bathroom has no spells on it. Yet Maddie goes in there to wash her face and clean up. I always like to get her. Yeah. Demons, get her. Yeah. There's no spells in there. No. Get her. And like you're like, okay, well maybe it's connected, whatever. Well, in a little bit, they will use that room. Yeah. So they get attacked by the demons. Unfortunately, this is where Jason is killed, disemboweled by Angela, turning him into a demon. Yeah. Now, what's quite frustrating here is up to this point, the demons have had quite a good bit of makeup. Like the faceless one running around, Suzanne looks pretty cool. Yeah. Even Dexter to a certain degree. For some reason, with Jason and Colin later, they go for this really bland, plain look of them, where they just look like zombies almost. Yeah. It's like, oh, is that it?
Run out of like budget.
Yeah.
It just kind of reflects the whole film. Like, yeah, that'll do.
So they go back up to the room, get back to the room, and they're like, okay, we're just going to stay here. And then we get the bathroom scene I talked about where the bath is filled with blood. And I think it's Dex that comes jumping out of it. Yeah. Yeah, they go scrambling back into the room, lock the door, but Colin falls through the floor all the way to the bottom of the basement, so through several floors and all that. Good fall, liked it. Looked good, looked impactful. Yeah. Rather than going outside, Maddie climbs down a rope into the basement to help him. And he snapped his leg. It's, what do they call it when the bone's coming out?
Fucking horrible. Tibia?
Is a term for it where your bone is coming out through your actual skin. Okay. And she snaps it back into place. And he immediately turns into a demon. I like that. I said to you, oh, he's just died from shock immediately. Yeah. And turned into a demon immediately. So I quite liked it.
Yeah, that was good.
Maddie manages to get back to the maid's room, fighting on the demons up there. And I think we now reached the point where the movie, I think it's the worst part of the film. Because it makes no sense.
No.
It thinks it's being funny. It tries to be clever.
Yep.
Right. So, rather than going, right, I'm staying in this room, I'm on my own, everyone else is dead.
Yeah.
I'm just going to sit here, right by this window, and not move. Right? She goes, okay, well, I'll kill myself in the same way that Evangeline did. So we see her with a rope running towards the balcony. She ties the rope around her neck, jumps off, and seemingly hangs herself.
Yeah.
She doesn't decapitate, she just drops and dies. The sun rises directly after. After. And the demons are all killed. We then see Maddie lift her head up and take the rope off and then step down. Apparently had tied a rope around her waist and not her neck. So the demons thought she was dead. She hadn't hung herself. She had tied it around her waist. And I'm just like, that is the dumbest thing I've ever fucking seen.
Yeah.
Because you just have to watch the film to know she never did that.
No.
She never did that. We didn't see her do that. Oh, not that we needed to see her do it. What I'm saying is, we saw her. When was she doing that? When did she have time to tie it around her fucking waist? But not only tie it around her waist, create a contraption that made it look like a noose was around her neck as well. She's being chased by demons. Are you fucking kidding me? But also, the fall is quite high. She would have...
She'd be, yeah.
It would have hurt
It
her.
would have really, like, winded her, broken some ribs if it had, like...
And she's just like, oh, I'm fine. Oh, that's fine. And then, of course, because this film decides to... I don't know why it does this. She walks towards the gate and it's just like, huh, demons, not so smart, are they?
Oh.
And like, all your friends are fucking dead.
Yeah.
Everyone is dead and you're going to have to explain this.
Well, there's a bit earlier when they first go into the symbol room, when Maddie's having to go, at Angela. But her sassy tone's really...
Oh, shut up,
her.
bitch, and just close the door in her face. She never takes it seriously.
She's supposed to be distressed, and it's so out of character. I was like, oh god, not fearful, but like, oh, suck it, bitch, and shuts the door like.
Well, what it is it's this. If you're not scared, why am I? Why am I going to feel fear if you have none?
I feel like we were as disinterested as Colin throughout the whole thing.
Yeah, that's an interesting one because Colin is disinterested throughout it. And weirdly enough, I ended up quite liking Edward Furlong in the movie overall. I don't really have a negative thing to say about most of the cast. I think the writing is an issue for certain characters, but I think the acting's solid. I think the writing for Maddie is a real problem. It's like we wanted you to be a badass, like faced with demonic possession, and your friends. These are your friends.
Yeah, and you're so like, oh,
so nonchalant about it at the end. It's like, wow. How am I supposed to relate and enjoy you as a character? I ended up thinking, fucking hell, horrible bitch.
It's a shame because they could have done so much with it. Like they had some good makeup, they had like good cast. A bit more of a straightforward story would have been so much better. Like have less people at the party, but have a more of a part because the party gets shut down quite quickly.
Yep.
And I thought I'd have gonna have some fun with like party guest demons and it all just going a bit mad. And it doesn't. It always gets shut down and then
reverts to
down.
a small cast.
Slows down and then slows down even more. Yeah, so the pacing was really off.
I think so. I think the movie tied itself in knots when it came to the room with the symbols.
Yeah, two different plot lines. So you got the house party, you got demons. So we want to be like the demons, but also people nowadays want more complex stories.
Yeah.
Like there's no just we're just at a house party.
Yeah, there's just demons and stuff like that. I get what you're saying.
No,
yeah.
There's got to be some backstory and you beat the demons in the end and no, not needed.
No, I agree. I find it quite interesting as well. Sort of that analysis because ultimately when it breaks it down for all those complications it is incredibly simple. It is not a complex film, it's not a complex story. Aside from its history more than anything else, it does break down the demons at a party, people being killed, slasher shit, anything, whatever. It's just because it wants to have that deeper story, as you said, that more complex story for a modern audience, it wants to introduce all this history about the demons and things like that. Take that as you will. I personally don't care for it. I don't mind it, don't care for it. It's neither or. And that's the thing about the film overall, I think, which is to me it's so middle of the road. It's like it's not terrible, it's not great. It's got good moments, it's got bad moments. And when it comes down to it, it does nothing to enhance, improve, or better the original. Yeah. So what's the fucking point?
Yeah. Well, it kind of just doesn't stick out, does it? Even like 2009, like a slew of just nonsense, really, weren't it?
No. overall, that's the in-depth done of the 4 movies. Overall, it doesn't. The remake isn't the worst. The ranking's really easy, isn't it? It really is. First, the original. Second, remake,
and then the third one,
Demon House, aka Night of the Demons 3. That's the way I've seen it. But personally, I think if you want a modern, well lit, some cool makeup effects horror, and you're not really into 80s stuff, then watch the remake. You'll find things you can enjoy in it. You know, if you like us, you want to see that 80s cheese, bit of fun and all that, check out the original. Maybe check out the first sequel. Everybody avoid Demon House.
Definitely.
Simple as that.
Definitely.
I love them anyway. Night of the Demons, the franchise. Got any thoughts on it? Let us know in the comments. Thank you very much for watching. You can check us out on gbhbl.com as well as on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and Tumblr. Go to Patreon and help us out over there. That's patreon.com/gbhbl, as well as Big Cartel, where you can find some of our merchandise. We have a podcast running on SoundCloud and Apple Podcasts. And of course, if you like this video, do us a favour, hit the subscribe button and help the channel grow. Games, horror and heavy metal. What else is life for?